Hello everyone, I'm Norbert Williams, right here on Sky FM 93.1. Join me Monday to Friday, 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. for the morning edition of Keeping It Real. And on Tuesdays and Fridays, Minova Ward joining me from Canada, right near the North Pole. Although it's cold over there, it's gonna be hot in here. Don't you forget, Monday to Friday, 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. on GVD TV and streaming live on Facebook. Don't you miss it. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, St. Lucia. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Levela, levela, levela. I hope Minova is up already. Minova, it's time to get up.
I'm up having my coffee.
Good. That's good. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the morning edition of Keeping It Real for Friday, the 23rd day of Avril, 2021. 2021. Good morning to you. Minova, is that coffee burning your throat or something?
It is actually. Sorry, yeah, it is. And I feel like I'm coming down with the flu or something.
Are you sure?
Oh well. It feels like that. My
Just
throat feels kind of itchy.
Just Chagouin Saint Lucie, maybe?
Probably.
I see.
Yeah.
Well, good morning. Why don't you jump in there today, Minova, and say hello to everybody? You know, I do that all the time, you know. Getting the guy to do all the work.
You love to set me up.
I ain't setting you up.
I'm ready for you this morning.
Good.
You love to set me up.
You have your list of place names. Go ahead. Good morning.
Good morning, St. Lucia. Good morning to St. Lucians at home, St. Lucians all over the world. St. Lucians at home in Ansoray, Otabo, Babodo, Bocage, Castries, Canries. No, but I'm listing them in alphabetical order just so. Huh?
Give me a name of some place in Monrepo, you know where?
I know you're trying to set me up. Rodney Bay, St. Lucians in Rodney Bay. Roseau, Soufrière, Tiroche, and Newport. Good morning.
Wait, what about Choiseul? I didn't hear Choiseul.
I said Choiseul.
Oh, okay.
Right after Catteries.
Labrie, maybe?
Good morning, my friends in Cap Estate, Union, Timon, Leslie Land, all around.
Your friends all there too?
I have friends all there.
Okay.
You tried to set me up this morning, but I was
nah, man. Folks, y'all here, I don't know what she has in that coffee, boy. She got energy there this morning like never before. Row! Going. Ready to, maybe because she was working out at the gym last night. I don't know. Energy levels are up this morning.
Probably.
Really? You say that?
Probably.
Probably, eh?
How are you this morning, my handsome co-host?
What do you want? What are you trying to get? Because them kind of sweet talk so early in the morning, there's something behind that.
I can't give you a compliment with nothing behind it. Just
well, good
genuine
morning. I'm doing
compliment.
good. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Okay, thank you very much.
What color bow tie are you wearing this morning?
Well, you should see. Can't you see? You should see. It's a burgundy.
Oh, right. You on Facebook Live.
That's right. That's right.
I'm not watching.
I'm on GVD TV too.
The sound.
Yeah. I'm on GVD TV too. Yeah.
You wearing a burgundy bow tie?
That's right, there, boy. I'm hitting it up today.
Well, speaking of burgundy,
I
heard there's a little story with the color burgundy.
Yeah. We ain't gonna get into that yet. Just give it a few minutes, okay? Let things settle. Let the coffee start going down, warming people up, get them to wake up because I want them to hear this morning. The old tricks again. The old tricks. And when I heard it yesterday, I read it. I was like, you see? There we go again. You know, it's always interesting. But you know, the people of St. Lucia have gotten used to the shenanigans. They've gotten used to the fluff and the bluff. They've gotten used to the 3 Bs principle. And that is another example. That's just a little one. That's just the offspring of the 3 Bs principle right there. Folks, you know what that is. Don't be surprised. Just keeping it real here. Day, night, morning, midday, whatever. Wherever in the world you are, you know that the 3 Bs principle, I've taught you all long enough over the years. Bullshit baffles brains. And yesterday, we saw another example of the blatant and bold-faced 3 Bs principle in full effect. My gosh, you know, it didn't even dawn on me initially. And then, you know, the reason why is because I know the difference. I know the difference. But if you don't know the difference, if you don't have the information, you'll fall for it. But you know what?
Yeah.
You know what? The people of St. Lucia were not falling for it. That's the thing that really got me. It's like, bagay desa. Something's behind that.
But I don't even understand how that was even an issue or newsworthy. Like, it was a slow news day.
You know why? Well, no, because it was sent out. You know, none of our sleuths, our journalist sleuths, they didn't just find that.
Reporters? You mean our reporters?
Well, I was being a little bit facetious. But none of our sleuths, our gumshoe journalists, reporters, whatever, tracked that down. It was sent out to them. Meanwhile, good morning. You know, Minerva, I don't know, must be something you're doing, or Cassava hasn't called in 2 weeks. The Cassava man. He hasn't called in 2 weeks.
He's okay.
He's okay. Don't worry with him. He's okay.
Okay.
That's just his tricks. You know? That's just his tricks. And then he's going to call in and say, oh, Cassava, I haven't heard you in a while. He's just playing the miss me, want me kind of thing. You know, because the last time he spoke to you and he was so, you know, sounding so nice and sweet talking. Oh, the lady and bagabam. You know, he's a guy that subscribes to that principle, you know. Absence makes the heart grow fonder.
Okay.
So that's what he's trying to pull on you. He's a sweet talker, you know. He's a sweet talker. And you know, I said to him, hey, you never talk to me so nice. He said, nah. You know, I believe that's what's going on. That's what's going on. Good morning to St. Lucia. Good morning to those of you all around. All the places that Minerva missed. Good morning to you. Good morning to you all. Good morning. Good morning to those of you in the diaspora, as I say. And of course, they're on here already. Barbados and lots of people in St. Lucia. But I tell you, smartphones and mobile devices are taking over, but the listeners are still there. Good morning to those of you in Canada, Toronto, in Antigua, in Barbados, Martinique, Cayenne. Ooh, a whole lot of people. Wow. A whole lot of people just logged in to Barbados. As I was saying, it keeps refreshing. A whole lot just logged in from Barbados. Boy, I tell you, the Lucians in Barbados ain't making sport, man. Early so in the morning, wanna up already, wanna brushing one of teeth with cane.
Good morning, Lynthia in Barbados.
Morning. Morning to you. Good morning to Martinique. Did I say Martinique? Cayenne. Cayenne is there. Boy, these days Cayenne is blazing, the Lucians over there. They're keeping in touch. They want to know what's going on. Good morning to you. Good morning to you in London. The London crew is there already. It's already, 11 o'clock in the morning? Yeah. So they're already there. Their day is in full swing. And I'm looking out the window. I can see, wow, it's blue skies, just a little white cloud way over there, over the moon there. But it's just blue skies. I think it's going to be.
Are you trying to make me jealous?
No, I was just just mentioning the facts. I'm just stating. So I want to say that the current temperature in Castries, as recorded at 6:15, which is right now, is 79 degrees. And it says sunny. No clouds at all. Just like, hey, I should be a meteorologist. I looked out the window and my reporting of what I saw is exactly what's out there.
You could look outside and see the temperature.
No, the sky.
Oh, guess the temperature. Oh, the sky. Okay.
I wasn't guessing the temperature.
Okay.
Going up today to a high of 86. It's going to be sun shining all along. There no clouds. The sun is burning the early morning stuff off already. Yeah.
Doesn't St. Lucia use Celsius? You always report.
We're using Fahrenheit, man. Fahrenheit. They use Celsius, but we still in Fahrenheit. Celsius is kind of like being adopted. It's supposed to be a long time, but I prefer Fahrenheit. So.
That's because of your your American background.
Well, it's because of me being born in St. Lucia and we use Fahrenheit, okay? You stick to your whatever it is.
Well, so on my app, it says a Grosley. Grosley is 26 degrees Celsius right now, and it's supposed to go to a high of 30 degrees Celsius today.
Wow.
In St. Lucia. Yeah. Okay. Beautiful weather.
Well, if you want to get technical, whatever it is, if you want to get technical, I'm trying to get it to go to Celsius, trying to get it to go.
Are you converting it on your app?
No, I'm not. I'm just trying to switch the layout. Okay. Yeah. Don't try that on me there. There we go. Still is not changing. It keeps going to it and then it comes back. I don't know. Must be you. Something about you.
Anyway.
Yeah. So anyway, it's 79 in Castries, and it's a sunshiny day. Sunshiny, and 86 for the high today. No clouds. It's just gonna be coming down, and the moon tonight. No clouds. Chance of rain. 33% chance of rain. About 1 o'clock tomorrow morning. But that's about it. That's about it. School's back in session, although in a kind of way. So watch out for the traffic. Leave early by 7 o'clock if you're up north, 7:15 to get away. But the traffic's not that bad so far. But anyway. So, Minerva. Let me get to this here. Let me get to this here. I don't know, my video is kind of like dull gray lighting. I don't know. Like I'm in the shadows. But anyway, let me get you here. Let me read you. This one has me a little tickled.
What's that?
Well, a story that came out yesterday says the SLP warns against imposters posing as canvassers for the party. They say canvassers for the party. I guess it's for the SLP. So why would anybody be an imposter and come canvassing for you? And they describe that they're wearing, but well, they state where it's happening. They say Castries East and Castries South. I was like, why would, why? You begin thinking about, people, crime and that sort of thing. I'm saying, but wow, that's a new one. It's possible. But then immediately, tick, the light went off in my head. Eureka! I said, no. It takes a little while sometimes. You have to, the dots get connected in the back of the mind, I was like, no, you're not serious. Well, folks, hold on. Let me not get ahead of myself. We call on the public, that's from the SLP's communications person. We call on the public to be vigilant as these persons masquerade in constituencies to create confusion and distractions. Let me give it to you. Lewis, that's Mondi Lewis, said the SLP received reports that canvassers are wearing red t-shirts with the tagline, keeping it real. Oh my gosh. Printed on the front. You know what that is, Minerva? UWP candidate for Castries East, Fortuna Belrose, got a whole load of keeping it real t-shirts for her canvassers. So this is the strategy there now that I'm putting out to you. In my opinion, this is the strategy to make people suspicious. But the canvassers from Fortuna Belrose are just keeping it real. So some of the t-shirts are burgundy. They're burgundy. They're not red. They're burgundy. And they have keeping it real on the front. Now, why would, of course, unless Philip J.P. is now in love with keeping it real every day. Unless he's in love with that now, unless the SLP has embraced keeping it real. You see, I tell you, it comes out in all kind of ways. They're all watching the show.
But how could the Labour Party mistake a burgundy t-shirt with keeping it real in
on the
bold
front
yellow letters at the front for their canvassers?
No, they're saying they're saying that the people are going around masquerading as SLP canvassers. What? I didn't know that keeping it real was a slogan for the SLP campaign.
I didn't realize that either.
In fact, I think that everybody believes that keeping it real is a show that exposes the SLP triple B's, 3 B's principle and propaganda. Just keeping it real.
So that was the reason for a whole press release and a whole media statement.
Well, thank you once again for promoting keeping it real. Folks, they ain't got nobody out there with red keeping it real t-shirts. None. Ain't nobody going around and then pretending to be SLP canvassers. I mean, how lame is that? How lame is that? And listen to this, they got reports.
So two people told them, I saw a burgundy t-shirt. I thought it was red. I thought it was Labour Party canvassing. 2 people, and they wrote a press release.
So guess what? Somebody went out there and decided to use keeping it real to trick people to believe that they are canvassing for the SLP. Where, miss? Yeah. Wow. That's a harebrained idea, boy, I tell you. Lord. So somebody sat down there and thought, you know what? Here's a way how we can trick people to believe that we are SLP canvassers. Let's get a red t-shirt and put keeping it real on the front.
A burgundy t-shirt. A burgundy t-shirt.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Come on, man.
Oh, Lord.
Come on.
On the eve of the election, Labour Party has nothing more substantial or important to talk about. Perhaps their plans.
Gosh.
Perhaps their plans, what they plan to do if, God forbid, they win the election. Perhaps their plans would be a nice thing to start articulating those plans. Well, no, but speaking of plans, the Labour Party threw out some things in Parliament last week, threw out some campaign promises, and that's on top of two others we've heard before. We heard about building a smart city in cul-de-sac. We've heard about a youth economy.
We've heard
no explanation as to what that youth means. I take it to mean things that are already happening with youth creative industries and all sorts of stuff that's already happening, but they create a new brand for it. Youth economy.
Y-O-O-F, yes.
Y-O-O-F.
Youth.
Yeah, youth economy. So we heard a smart city in cul-de-sac. I don't know how that's going to happen. I don't even understand. I don't even know if Philippe knows what a smart city is.
That was a talking point. That was a buzz expression.
But I am listening because right now we're on the eve of the election, so you have to listen closely to hear what their campaign promises are.
It's coming.
So prior to the House, we heard two: building a smart city in cul-de-sac. We heard a youth economy. We also heard some in the House last week. We heard the removal of income tax for anyone doing less than $4,000.
Wow.
No, but let's break that down. Let's break it down.
Oh, you want to do the breakdowns?
Let's break down how unrealistic this is. So anybody earning less than $4,000 a month, which is $48,000 a year, which is a decent salary.
Well, the first 4,000.
It's a decent salary in St. Lucian terms.
The first 4,000 of your salary.
He said a removal of income tax for anyone earning less than $4,000 a month.
So what about those?
But what does that mean? so that's $48,000 for the year.
Yeah.
Right. So you are asking basically this is an unsolicited tax break. Nobody asked you to do that.
That's right.
Nobody asked Pierre to do that. Nobody earning $48,000 a month said we don't want to pay taxes. I think people understand that they have to contribute.
That is right.
To the
Very well.
of the society in which they live.
Very well.
People understand that the country does not run on air.
That's right.
Or water.
That's
or
right.
seawater.
That's right.
We can't get out of the Caribbean and run the economy.
I give you the bell.
People understand that the country has to run, and part of it is taxes, and people have to contribute to the cost of the society in which you live.
That's right.
Crime reduction.
That's right.
Roads, schools, hospitals, all the amenities. Who is going to pay for it? So when Philippe is offering to remove income tax for anyone earning $4,000 a month or less, which is $48,000 a year, which is a good, decent salary by any account in St. Lucia, what is effect saying is he's reducing government revenue significantly. I think the estimate for that is $70 million. But not only that, when you reduce or when you eliminate income tax for anyone making under $48,000, what you do, what about the people making above $48,000? What about the people making $100,000? You have to then remove income taxes on that first $48,000 of their salary. You see what I'm saying, Norbert?
Yeah.
You can't, people making above, let's say somebody makes $55,000. You can't charge them income tax on their full salary of $55,000 while people are making $48,000 and they pay no taxes.
That's right.
No income taxes. So that's not going to benefit just the people earning $48,000. It's also going to benefit the people making $100,000.
That is right.
People making $200,000.
That is
because it means on the first $48,000 of their salary, they are paying no income taxes.
That is right.
But what is the effect that's going to have on the revenues of St. Lucia? We know things are tight in the best of times. We know things are tight in the best of times, right, Norbert?
Yes.
Our revenues have been significantly reduced as a result of COVID. But even before that, in the Labour Party stand, the revenues were down. Right? We know the country doesn't have any minerals or any natural resources apart from our land, our people, our right? There's no oil discovery like in Guyana.
Don't tell us.
What is the country going to run on? So you put in the country in a financially precarious position where the IMF is going to look at this seriously. How are we going to repay our debts?
Well, Huntley will disagree with you.
Significantly impacting. our revenue base of the country.
Yes.
Like, who is advising Philippia on that?
I don't know.
Removing income tax for anyone earning less than $4,000 a month. Where's that money gonna come from? Where's the shortfall gonna come from?
Who's going? It's going to come back and bite who? Who is it going to come back and bite?
No, when you do that, what that means is that there's a smaller pool of people paying taxes in the country. There's a smaller pool. So the tax burden now falls on a smaller group of people in the country that now have to pay for the cost of upkeep for the society.
Well, we have our first
and you know
call.
It's not going to be sorry?
It's not going to be. We have our first call.
It's not going to be it's not going to be the...
Good morning.
Call?
Yeah. Good morning. You're on the air. Let's keep it real.
Robert. Good morning, Minerva.
Good morning.
Good morning.
On the point of removing taxes on employees who make $48,000 a year. To me, I'm subject to correction. That's a huge chunk of the employment industry.
Yeah, it is.
So I really don't get the logistics on that. And I really want to know who is advising Philip J. Pierre. And I think whoever is advising him is B.
3 B's principle.
Baffles brain.
Thank you, caller.
And they're just setting him up to fail. Bye.
Thank you very much, caller. Thank you for keeping it real. Thank you.
But no, but it's true. It's a significant amount of our labor force who make that in that salary range. It's significant. So when you remove taxes for those people, what's going to happen?
Well, good morning. You're on the air. Let's keep it real.
Hi, good morning, Norbert.
Morning, sir. Minerva. How are you?
I'm
good morning.
Good,
good.
Nobe,
yeah.
You see that piece of paper they sent to the media houses yesterday? Man, the moment I saw that thing, I was like, whoa.
Keeping it real.
Man, listen. These people are, how would I call it, man? You see when you have a gun and you call them trigger-happy cops?
Yeah.
They are camera-happy people.
Yeah.
You mean to tell me these people take pictures and videos of everything? Not one has been on social media?
No, caller, no.
Of these people with red keeping it real t-shirt?
That's the plan. That's the plan to get to keeping it real as well. You know, to associate the name, to associate that, so people will not be inclined to wear the keeping it real t-shirt. That's how c'est un volet, man. You see the strategy, caller? You see the strategy? All right.
I saw that thing. I was like, oh, come on.
Yeah.
It's so transparent.
That's how
that wasn't my thought exactly either. So,
you know, I mean, and back to this thing, Norbert, the removal of the income tax for people. The caller previously said it right, because they set it up, and people is supposed to be an economist, huh? Supposed to be, man. Come on. I mean, you all want roads, you all want everything, you all want water, you all want everything.
They want everything.
How are you gonna get this
everything.
thing?
Yeah.
You know what, caller?
And they're promising people all kinds of stuff. Where's the money going to come from?
Give the people the money. Give them the money. Don't fix the roads. Give them the money.
And Labour Party keeps pushing this handout mentality, this dependency thing. Where is it going to come from?
Indeed,
when you reduce your tax base so significantly, where is it going to come from? Yeah.
I mean, come on. So nobody will nobody wants to work now. They want to tell everybody, sit home and we'll take care of you.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know,
that's
and the gullibles are buying this thing.
Yeah.
And they expect this country to move forward.
Yeah.
How are we going to move forward with that mentality? Gosh, man. Anyway, guys, good show already.
Thank you very much, caller. Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you.
But just quickly, Minerva, just quickly. If you realize, listen to this now, if you realize what was happening there during COVID, when people were clamoring, people need to give people income support and all of this. Well, nobody pays unemployment insurance unless if you have some special arrangement. But guess what?
Yeah.
The people who were not paying into NIC wanted support as well. And what was the encouragement?
Exactly.
That these people have to start contributing in a small way.
Yeah,
so when you take away this responsibility from people from paying anything at all, when you encourage that, Where is it going to come from?
Where's the money going to come from? And that's what people don't realize now. But I don't think people, no, I shouldn't say people don't realize that. The message Labour Party keeps pushing does not send that message.
This is not good.
That you have to, the money has to come from somewhere. The money doesn't come from thin air. Even when we introduce universal health care, people still have to pay into it. It's not free. In Canada, I have free health care, quote unquote free, but I pay into it every single month. You pay into it by taxes, or some provinces have, you basically pay a monthly fee. It's not free. The government of Canada is not giving you health care for free. You pay into it. I pay into unemployment insurance. So if, God forbid, I lose my job, there's a pool of money in which I can get some benefits. The money has to come from somewhere. Or if it doesn't, it is an extraordinary situation. The country is borrowing to pay for those things, to fund those things, which is the situation we found ourselves in. So talking about income support, and I want to go back to Pierre's campaign promises in a second, but talking about income support, as we mentioned that, the fact is that they've been hitting the roads, they've been hitting all the infrastructure projects going on, and talking about why isn't the government using that money for income support. Well, we know that cannot happen, right? But so what they want to do is, what they're suggesting to the government, or what they would have people believe that they would do, is to provide income support to allow households to keep consuming, versus what this government is doing. So what this government is doing through the infrastructure projects, it has more than just the income support. So versus capital investment, because that's what we're doing. So their thing is income support. What this government is doing is capital investment, which has several benefits. Yeah. So it also allows households to keep consuming through employment. That's income support. You're creating employment. So a productive use of your funds, rather than people sitting at home and just collecting income support. You actually have people working and earning an income. And I think, no, but I think by and large, that's what people want to do. People don't want to sit at home and depend on the government to just give them stuff. People want to work, to have a sense of pride.
Yeah.
You know, you work for your money, you buy your children their laptops, you know, you buy the children their devices, you pay CXC maths and English for your children. That's what they want. They're not asking the government to give it to them for free. Give them the opportunities for them to pay for it for themselves. I think by and large, that's what St. Lucians are asking for. Absolutely. Opportunities, jobs, and a business environment where they can create their own entrepreneurial opportunities.
And as you said,
so another,
as you said, nobody was crying out for that.
Yeah.
The government actually had just increased, I think it's 2 years now, the salary. It was increased from 18,000 to 23, I believe, that you don't pay taxes on. People welcome that. But I didn't hear anybody clamoring to get 30,000 tax-free or 40,000.
Exactly.
Or what is that going to? What is the reason for that? Because when this government came in, but anyway, we'll get to your property taxes in a while.
But even from 18 to 23, that's a significant hit on the revenue of the country. Even that is significant, right? And you want to take it to 48,000, but even up to 23, that's significant.
Yeah.
For people making under $23,000 to not pay taxes. That's a huge section of your population not contributing into the taxes to the very society in which they live.
There you go.
That means more taxes that have to be falling on a smaller pool of people.
And already.
So anyway, going back to.
And already, a very large percentage of workers in this country don't pay taxes. They don't contribute.
Yeah, exactly. So going back to the government's strategy on capital investment. So one, allows households to keep consuming through employment. It is an investment in the infrastructure of the country, right? It makes it easier for people to commute, to get around, to trade.
That's right.
To move around the country, to get to work, etc.
That's right.
It also creates the capacity in the economy. And like the Prime Minister has been talking about, we have to increase the capacity if we want to develop. You have to increase your water supply. You have to improve your roads. You have to improve your infrastructure if you want to increase the capacity of your country for development.
That's right.
Development doesn't just happen just so. You have to keep your infrastructure, keep pace. Your infrastructure has to keep pace with the development and the growth for the country. You have to increase your airport. You have to build a new airport and make sure that on a weekend the line is not outside the door, that you have the capacity to hold the tourists coming in.
That's right.
I remember, Norbert, when I came to St. Lucia, I think Christmas of 2019, listen, you had multiple flights arriving the same time. That line went out the door. Norbert, that arrival lounge was packed, chaos with luggage all over. No, but at one time, I'm telling you, people got irritated with the amount of time to process through customs.
That's right.
People just walking past customs. I saw it for myself. People just grabbing the bags and walk. It was so many people that they were powerless to do anything. Like literally, that arrival lounge was madness. Christmas, when I came in Christmas of 2019. So in addition to, like I said, creating the capacity in the country, it also is an investment in infrastructure. So this is what capital investment, which is what the government is doing. That's all the benefits it does, versus what the Labour Party would have you to do, which is strictly income support. But our strategy does that as well as so many other things. But going back to Philippe Pierre and his unsolicited tax breaks he wants to give everybody, because St. Lucia suddenly discovered that we have gold, diamonds, minerals, oil. We certainly have, Philippe Pierre suddenly discovered St. Lucia has all of that.
In
so now
COVID.
we can start handing out tax breaks in COVID.
Yeah.
We suddenly discovered we have a diamond mine, we have a gold mine, we have bauxite, we have aluminum, we have gas, we have all kind of things. We suddenly discovered that somewhere. So Philippe Pierre is acting like Santa Claus now. He wants to hand out all kind of tax breaks, unsolicited tax breaks that nobody is asking for, in my St. Lucian accent, that nobody is asking for.
That's right.
So
keep it real.
Income tax for people earning less than $4,000 a month. He also wants to remove all facilities fees for all schools. But isn't that the same government that under them, the school rehabilitation program, they only allocated $1 million for schools, for school upkeep, while this government allocated $10 million? If schools and stuff was such a priority for you, why such a small allocation of $1 million? But the other question is, how are schools going to be supplied? The facilities fees, we know they pay for paper, they pay for photocopying machine, they pay for the supplies the school needs. I mean, of course, subsidized by the government, but they're asking the parents to make a small contribution towards all of those things. Where is that money going to come from when you eliminate facilities fees for school children across the board? Again, another unsolicited tax break, basically. No, but so parents who can't afford it, who can't afford the school fees, why shouldn't they be paying? Right? If there are parents who really cannot afford, and we know that they are vulnerable households, then there should be an exception made for them, but not across the board. Not sweeping tax breaks for people who can't afford. That does not make sense. The other thing too, removal of CXC fees for maths and English. But who asked Philippe Pierre that? Who asked him for that? Again, if there are parents who cannot afford CXC fees for their children, there are programs available where the government can, on a case-by-case basis.
Yes.
But why should they be sweeping? Who asked him for that? That they don't pay maths and English for their children.
So those who can afford it benefit as well.
Yeah, exactly. So you're creating a revenue burden, increased revenue burden for the country. Yeah. Right? By doing
that. Thank you. That's well said. A revenue burden.
And who asked for that? Right? The other thing he talked about was the removal of property tax. But for the last 5 years, hasn't property taxes been, what's the word? It's not been removed. It's been
exempted.
Could you explain that?
Exempted.
Yeah.
Well,
okay.
Let me
could you explain how to,
Yes. When the government came in, and folks, I will repeat it again. I'll just go back a little bit in time, the past. Prime Minister Alan Shastney said that it would take 3 years to get St. Lucia back on a solid footing and then proceed with the major changes that this government campaigned on and what he, in his vision for St. Lucia, wants to implement. That's what he said. And in those 3 years, knowing full well the burden that the SLP had imposed, the burdens that the SLP had imposed on St. Lucia and St. Lucians, on businesses, on individuals. The imposition of VAT at 15%, the increase in water rates, the desilting levy, the increase in vehicle registration fees, the reduction in the school subsidy or school feeding program and transportation, all the other taxes that had been imposed, all the other fees that had been increased. The Prime Minister and this government realized that the people of St. Lucia needed a break. They needed a breather. All the businesses that were closing down because of the oppressive nature of the taxes that had been imposed by the SLP. The government decided to give the people of St. Lucia a breather. Not a free-for-all, but a breather. And the government decided then, that's why you had your 5 to stay alive. To give people, so people could stay alive, so businesses could remain. Look at Vieux Fort. We all know the classic story of Vieux Fort and the South. What was happening down there? And it was decided, it was decided to give people a break on the property taxes. So initially it was 3 years, and then it went to, they increased it by, they added on another year, and now it's going for the 5th year. What was that for? So people could afford to do some repairs on their home, do some stuff that they hadn't been able to do for a while because they were stifling under the SLP.
But no, but that can't last forever.
It cannot.
At the end of it, at some point, it can't last forever. At some point, who is going to pay for garbage collection?
There you go.
Who is going to pay for road upkeep? Who is going to pay for security for the police, for residential areas?
Yes.
Who is going to be paying for all the services that government provide to residences, basically? Who's going to pay for those things? It has to come from property tax. So right now, since property tax, since it has been halted or paused for the last 5 years, that money is coming from somewhere else. It's coming from other government revenues. So money is being diverted from other areas that could go into other things.
Yes.
But to give people a break.
That's
but
right.
this cannot last forever.
That's right.
Again, people have to contribute to the society in which they live, the cost of it, the services that they consume. It is not free. The money does not fall from the sky.
That's right.
It has to come from somewhere. So when Philippe is talking about removal of property tax, I mean, again, another unsolicited tax break. Where is the money going to come from?
But he was the trustee
How
deputy.
sustainable is that?
He was the trustee deputy. And Kenny Anthony himself said, but something happened. We could not borrow. But I guess Philippe J. Pierre, following in the footsteps, last week he said so, following in the footsteps of Kenny Anthony, I guess he's following these crazy principles, these financial ideas that have absolutely no sound footing and will sink St. Lucia further into despair.
Yeah. So no, but when your debt levels have not changed, you still have to meet your debt payments every single month.
Yeah.
The country, right? When you reduce your revenue significantly, where you cannot pay your debt, where you cannot provide services to your country, aren't you asking for the IMF to come knocking at your door?
Don't say
And we
that
know in the
word.
best of times, and the Labour Party, when GDP was declining, and I'm going to get to that because I heard them standing up in the House and grandstanding and talking about how the economy contracted in 2019. But what they did not tell us was under their term what the decline in debt in GDP was. But what's going to happen? You know, when you decrease your revenue base so significantly, who is going to pay for those services?
But let me paint a scenario here, just a little logical thing for people to go through. In the best of times when the SLP was in office, when they had imposed VAT, when they had increased rates of so many things, in the best of times, they could not fix the roads and so many things, the schools, blah, blah, blah. You all know it, folks. You hear it all the time here. In the best of times. Right now, in the worst of times, when government revenue, the money coming in, is significantly reduced because hotels pas ouvert. Well, some of them are open, but not at the occupancy levels that we are accustomed to. Some of them, you know, the flights are coming back, things are coming back. But the airport is not fixed yet. We're still constrained by the number of people that can come in on any one day because the airport has a capacity. The number of passengers that it can move on a daily basis. Business, everything else is not where it was when the SLP was in office. But we have COVID. And it's not finishing now. Things are getting better, but it's not finishing now. So with the reduction...
And we know that in
so,
revenue by 22% since COVID, so $890 million
so with the reduction,
has been lost.
So with the reduction in revenue, you're going to cut more revenue that the government is getting in, which means that the reduction in revenue is even less.
How does that make sense, Philippe Pierre? Who's advising you, Philippe Pierre?
I don't know. Maybe it must be backdoor tourists that's going to raise the money. I don't. But there must be some secret economy that's happening in Vieux-Fort or in Castries East or somewhere that's going to bring in all of that lost income. Because when you cut it off somewhere, it has to come back.
Yeah. No, but the reality is that we know that there are vulnerable people in the society. So while I do not agree with giving sweeping tax breaks to benefit those who can afford it and should be paying into it, we know that there are vulnerable people in society. So the question is, how do you help those? How do you target those? And you said it very well earlier, on a case-by-case basis. So this government, right now, they've created a social safety net. So the vulnerability list, there are 2,200 people on that vulnerability list. And I know, like the Prime Minister is saying, that it doesn't capture everybody who's truly vulnerable. And that's the thing. There are people who are truly vulnerable and there are people who are lazy and don't want to take the jobs that are available. There's a difference. Let's be honest, Norbert. There's some people that just don't want to do the jobs that are available because they're lazy. They have too much pride.
That's a fact.
Isn't that true, Norbert?
It's a fact.
They want to be dressing up in town in their stockings and high heels, posing. That's the kind of jobs they want in an air-conditioned office. But they don't want to do the job that require hard labor. You know, to work on a farm, to be selling in a tray. They don't, because the Indonesians have a lot of pride. But there's nothing wrong in earning income the right way.
Well, when they go to the States and Canada, that pride disappears.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I'm not talking about these people. I'm talking about people who are truly vulnerable, people who cannot work by nature. They have a sickness, they're elderly, you know, they have a disabled child that they have to take care of. I'm talking about truly vulnerable people. So the Prime Minister talks about how do we widen that safety net? How do we support these people? And these are the programs he is saying that really and truly these people should have a card where they're able to access certain services. He talked about the school feeding program for their children. The transport subsidy for their children going to school. You know, you want to give them a monthly stipend. But still, while you're doing all of this, it cannot create a dependency where there's no incentive to work. Because sometimes some of our social support programs, and we see that in the US and Canada a lot of times, what happens is that people become dependent on these programs and they rather sit at home and collect these monies rather than going to work. So you also want to make sure that whatever support you provide for vulnerable households, do not discourage, do not disincentivize work.
Well, you know, in the US, when you receive unemployment, you still have to go to programs. You still have to show that you're sending out your resume.
That you're looking for a job.
That is right.
Yes.
That is right. You can't just sit there and say, "Oh, I'm unemployed, not doing anything." You have to show that you're actively seeking employment and trying to better your situation.
Absolutely. So you have to do courses. They're available.
That's right.
You know, and sometimes the government will pay for you to do a course.
Right.
To get you off of welfare. To get you out of that situation of vulnerability.
That's right.
And to move you from a vulnerable category into a productive category.
That's right.
So whatever programs we have for vulnerable people, it cannot be one that creates dependency. So school feeding program, transport subsidy, a stipend, a monthly stipend, electricity subsidy, a housing subsidy, and a healthcare card where the government would pay for the contributions to universal healthcare. So while everybody else who can afford it should be paying for their premiums, a household who's truly vulnerable, the government would pay for those things. But it cannot be everybody. We can't do that for everybody. People have to, again, contribute to the upkeep of the society in which they live. No, but nobody likes to pay taxes.
Yeah, exactly.
When I see my payslip and I see my taxes, my mouth long from head to St. Lucia. My mouth long when I see the amount of taxes I pay.
Yeah.
You know, I look at my payslip and I see all the things I could have done with that money, but the government
takes a lot of taxes.
But why does the government take it? What services do they provide when they take that big chunk out of my salary? Roads, security, healthcare, safety, all of those services they provide. Schools, you know, the country doesn't run on air. Again, we have no natural resources that will make us rich. So it has to come from that.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying, Norbert?
Absolutely.
So when Philip Pierre is handing out tax breaks like a madman, willy-nilly, where is the money going to come from? But Norbert, it's interesting too. It's interesting that the same Labour Party that imposed a whole lot of taxes, and I'll go through some of them, and I'm sure you will remember as well. Because I was trying to remember, because to me, when Labour Party was in power in the last term, every time they went to Parliament, it was to impose a new tax on St. Lucians.
Yeah, it's well known.
So while Philip Pierre is talking about handing out tax breaks now, what they would have us forget is that they imposed several new taxes on St. Lucia. Right? While this government has not imposed a single new tax on St. Lucians. A single new tax. So I'm just going to go through some of the taxes the Labour Party imposed on St. Lucia during their term, 2012 to 2016. And jump in, Norbert, because I know you have some more. So they amended the Motor Vehicle and Road Traffic Act, in which they created 10 classifications based on curb and based on the weight of the vehicle. So as a result, private and hired vehicles increased from $150 to between $250 and $350.
Wow.
Labour Party did that.
That's 100%.
Goods vehicles went from 300 for less than 1 ton to between 450 to 700 for over 5 tons.
Wow. What?
Isn't that increase in taxes?
What?
And the Labour Party?
What?
Right? In 2014, they increased the excise tax on fuel purchased from Lucelec from 20 cents to 50 cents per imperial gallon, then to $1.
What?
This had the effect of increasing electricity bills and the cost of production.
What?
Under the same Labour
No,
Party.
Minerva, you need to stop right there. I'm not going to allow that from you at all. You're fabricating that. That cannot be right. That cannot be right.
No, but if you remember, the Labour Party is creating this narrative that the government is borrowing, which is actually not the case. Borrowing was actually more under them. But not only that, they increased taxes.
No.
Almost every time they went to the House, Norbert, I know you have a good memory, just like me. Just like me. You don't remember that, Norbert? It felt like every single time the Labour Party was... Because you remember...
But I'm getting back to your numbers. I don't care about my memory. I'm going by the numbers.
Just 1 second.
These guys could not have done that. They could not do that.
No, but you remember...
You lying on the fellas. You lying on the fellas.
They could not borrow.
You lying on the fellas.
Remember that Kenny Anthony told us they could not borrow. Remember that?
Wow.
So then how do you raise revenues?
Wow.
You increase your taxes.
What?
So since they couldn't borrow, they were forcing St. Lucians
to pay
more and more taxes. But no, but you know, if you have a hole where you're drilling for oil, you're drilling. At some point, the oil is going to run out. You can't drill into an empty hole. At some point, St. Lucians become overtaxed, which is what had happened in the Labour Party. Just taxes after taxes imposed on St. Lucians. They removed.
Read that again for me, please. Read it again, because the people, too many people.
No, but they have more,
No, read it again.
Yet, huh?
Well, go.
So amendments.
You sure you're reading right, eh? You sure you're reading correctly?
I'm reading right. I got that information from the Ministry of Economics.
Wow.
That's the taxes Labour Party.
I'm sure I saw something less than that. You sure you're right? You sure you're right?
Let me read it again for you, Norbert.
Read it again for me. Read it again.
Amendments to the Motor Vehicle and Road Traffic Act, in which they created 10 classifications based on weight. As a result, private and hired vehicles increased from $150 to $250 to $350.
Why?
Yes.
Why?
Goods vehicles went from 300 for less than 1 ton to between 450 to 700 for over 5 tons.
Why? Pete posh.
In 2014, they increased excise tax on fuel purchased by Lucelec from 20 cents to 50 cents per imperial gallon, and then to $1.
Pete posh.
This had the effect of increasing electricity bills and the cost of production.
Wow.
Then they reduced the subsidy on rice, sugar, and flour.
Wow.
Labour Party, the same one that care about poor people.
Yeah.
They reduced the subsidy on rice, sugar, and flour. Basic foods.
So in essence, the subsidy, let people understand, a subsidy is when you pay part of the cost, so it remains lower for people. Well, that money, the amount they subsidized it by, they reduced it. So it costs more.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly. They increased the application fee for alien land holdings license October 22nd, 2012. I have no problem with that one.
Yeah.
If a foreigner wants to buy land in St. Lucia, that's why he imposed the airport tax, right?
Yeah.
The burden of it, 85% of the tax is paid for by tourists who don't even realize they're paying for the taxes. Because 85% of the people who travel through here in our airport are tourists, not St. Lucians.
Yeah.
So I have no problem with that tax. If they increase the taxes for application fees for alien land holdings licenses, I have no problem with that one.
Yeah.
They increase the rate of customs service charge from 5% to 6%.
Wow.
That's the Labour Party. So in effect, you're making goods more expensive because the service charge is ultimately paid for by the consumer, by the person purchasing the goods. So they are now proposing to eliminate property taxes to try to attract the support from property owners, especially commercial properties. But they're the same people who removed the exemptions on residential properties before January 1st, 2013. So there were some exemptions, and they removed those exemptions when they came into office in 2011.
So there were exemptions, and they put it back.
And they put it back.
Why?
And they put it back.
Why? Malewe.
There's a same Labour Party that today want to tell you they're going to remove property taxes.
Pete posh po.
And no, but they did all that in the best of times, eh? They did all that in the best of times. No COVID, no war, no terrorism.
But where all that money gone? That revenue they raised, all that money. And you tell me still, they increased all of that. They imposed all of those increases. But yet still the roads could not be fixed properly. Yet still, all they spent on a yearly basis was $1 million to fix schools. And they're talking about the government is not doing anything now, when this government is spending 10 million plus a year to repair schools. Where they increase the water rates, where they impose the desilting levy on the dam, not one damn teaspoon was removed from the dam. Everything was cut back. Police equipment was out. Why? Where the money gone? What happened with the money?
That wasn't the best of times, eh?
Yes.
That wasn't the best of times. But listen to their economic performance.
0, 0, 0. Don't forget that.
They stood up in the House, Norbert. They stood up, 0, 0, 0. They stood up in the House and talked about, the economy contracted in 2019 before COVID. And many of them, they beat that like a dead horse because of the figures were recently revised. But let's examine the figures over time because the figures don't lie, Norbert. It's not me that's saying that. The figures don't lie. Let's examine the figures. In 2011, when the Labour Party came in, our GDP growth was at 4.8. That's what the UWP government left it in 2011. St. Lucia was the only country in the entire OECS that was enjoying positive GDP growth. And that was a couple of years after the global financial crisis. It left the country at 4.8% GDP growth in 2011. Labour Party came in late 2011 and they reduced it to minus 0.3 in the best of times, minus 0.3. In 2013, they reduced it even further to minus 2.2%. In 2014, they had a 1 year of positive GDP growth, 1.3%. The one positive, the 1 year under the Labour Party's last term, we saw positive GDP growth. 1 year, 2014.
Really?
In 2015, again, it went down, minus 0.2%.
This cannot be right. It cannot be right.
These are people that want to act like they're the best managers of the economy now.
Yeah.
But remember that all of this was in the best of times. 1 year out of their term, they had a positive GDP growth. All the rest was negative. And they want to act now in the best of times.
And they were sucking more money out of St. Lucians than ever before.
St. Lucians, thank you.
So where the money gone? They sent some
Good
for
question.
You.
Where the money gone?
Because I didn't get any. Robert. I didn't get any.
I didn't get any either. I didn't get any.
Wow. That's what you call petty posh.
There was no road rehabilitation program. They couldn't open our hospitals. They weren't able to give civil servants decent raises. Where was the money? Where did the money go? They were taxing St. Lucians from the yin yang. Every time they went to Parliament, there was a new tax imposed on St. Lucia. Sorry? Robert, what? Robert? Norbert. Let me see what's happening to Norbert. Is he still on? Okay, so I'm not sure what Norbert is doing, but I'm going to continue. So in 20, somebody messaged me saying they're still hearing me. Okay, so in 2016, and remember the election was in June of 2016, St. Lucia saw a GDP growth of 3.8%. 3.8% in 2016. Labour Party would love to take credit for that, but the truth is, did they pass a budget in 2016, Norbert?
My MP said that we would have a new wellness center. Here we are. It's almost finished.
My community said we needed a new wing to our secondary school. And my MP said yes.
My sister said she needed help to find a job, so my MP created a job fair.
Our athlete said we needed better sporting facilities.
A new early childhood development center.
My neighbors said.
My sister said.
The children said.
Community said.
Roads and a new park. And my MP said.
Yes.
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 Of course.
Nous toutes, c'est yon famille en Mikoud Nord. And nous continuons pour faire progrès avec Antigale.
Hello everyone, I'm Norbert Williams, right here on Sky FM 93.1. Join me Monday to Friday, 6. Okay, we should be back. Okay, we're right back.
Mm-hmm. Tell me when we're back. Good.
Okay, all right. Okay.
Okay, so we're back.
Hold on a second. We have a lot of calls.
Oh, I'm getting messages saying we're both live right now, Norbert.
Okay, great. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Somebody saying we can hear both of you. Okay.
Okay.
Lots of people listening. Holy smoke. So many people message me to say they're hearing us. Wow. Okay. Okay. So I'm just going to go back to, I'm not sure how much people missed. Okay, somebody saying on the radio link, they were hearing me no ad the whole time. Yeah. So no, but yeah, under this government, 2017, we saw GDP growth of 3.5%. Positive GDP growth. 2018, 2.6%. Yeah. 2019, 1.7%. So far, we've had 4 years of positive GDP growth.
Yeah.
2019, it was 1.7, recently revised to minus 0.1%. What that meant in real value was the economy lost $3 million EC dollars. But the Labour Party stood up in the House and made a big hoopla about that. Big song and dance, Philip Pierre, Sean Edwards, Ernest. Oh, they beat that like a...
The Six Horsemen.
Yeah, they made a big deal about the fact that the figure was recently revised to 2019, and St. Lucia experienced a 0.1% minus for 2019. Not reminding us that 4 years of their term, they had negative GDP growth, right? That is the Labour Party for you. In the best of times, this is their track record versus our track record. The numbers don't lie. The facts don't lie. The figures don't lie.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm here.
Yeah, no, but yeah, so that was the track record of GDP growth and the Labour Party versus this government. The other thing too, Norbert, is debt to GDP, because they stood up in the House and made a big deal. Obviously, our economy contracted in 2020, our GDP declined, our debt to GDP ratio increased. Like every other country in the Caribbean except Guyana. Guyana recently discovered they had oil. There was economic activity surrounding that, right? But every other country, their debt to GDP
That's right.
increased because countries now had to do more borrowing. Revenues declined, and I said that figure earlier. So in 2020, our revenue declined by 22% or $890 million.
But you know what? I bet you they won't compare us to those countries when we're doing better. They'll only
but they
pick
won't
and
compare
choose.
to their own self.
They'll just
They
pick and choose.
won't compare to their own self.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll just pick and choose the countries they want.
Absolutely. So St. Lucia moved in 2019 from a debt to GDP ratio. And let's explain to people what a debt to GDP ratio is, Norbert.
Yeah.
So your GDP is a sum total of goods and services produced in an economy for 1 year.
So your gross income,
debt.
your gross money.
Your gross domestic product. Yeah.
That's why it's
so
called
you want to break it down in terms of a household? You want to explain in terms of like...
So folks, let's just put it in. Let's say St. Lucia. St. Lucia earns whatever, $1 billion a year in the goods and services it sells or it offers. It's just like your household. You have incomes, your salaries. Say you have a one-person salary. You're getting $1,000 a month. Your gross domestic product for your household would be $12,000. That's the gross. Now, if you have a bank loan and you have to pay $500 every month, your debt, your bank loan, to GDP, the total income that you have, is 50%. It works for the government. It works for countries the same way. That's basically the simple way of describing it.
Yeah. So the GDP for a household is a sum total of the productive capacity of that household. So let's say, Norbert, I'm married to you, right? Our household GDP.
Some people might not like that idea, you know. That's going to put you off the market.
So our household GDP, quote unquote, our domestic GDP would be your salary, my salary. If I have a little side business, so if let's say I do people here on a weekend, that adds to our domestic economy. Let's say you run taxi when you off of work, that adds to our domestic economy. Let's say I make tamarind balls and fudge and stuff, and I sell that to people. That adds to our GDP, our domestic GDP. That is the GDP of our household. Similarly, for a country, it is a sum total of all the goods and services produced in the country over 1 year. Your debt, no explanation needs to be given for debt. It's the total sum of your debt, basically. It is expressed as a fraction or a ratio. So a comparison of one to another. So your debt, what is your debt as opposed to your GDP? So when people say debt to GDP ratio, that's what they mean. So it could be expressed as a fraction. So in 2019, our debt to GDP ratio was 59%. In 2020, because obviously our GDP declined because of all business closures, tourists not coming, reduced revenues, less tax, all of those things, our GDP declined like every other country in the world. So our debt to GDP ratio moved from 59%, a prudent amount, anything below 60 is prudent, is good, is excellent, anything below 60 is excellent. It moved from 59% to 86%.
So let's break that down. Let's break that down because I know some people will not understand that. Okay. Say I make $1,000 a month. Okay?
Yeah.
And my debt is $500 a month. Or let's say it's $250 a month. Okay? $250 a month. It means that my debt to GDP is 25%.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So 25% of the money I make goes towards my debt. But because of COVID, I didn't take on any more debt or any new debt. I didn't borrow anything new. But either I lost my job and I had to get another job which was paying less, or my job said, you know what, we want to stay in business, but COVID has brought slow business for us. We're going to cut your salary in half. So instead of making $1,000 a month, I'm now reduced to $500 a month. So when my debt was $250 a month, my debt to $1,000 to GDP was 25%. But now I'm only making $500 a month. My debt to GDP is no longer 25%. It's what part of it, of the total I'm making now, it's now raised to 50%, but I didn't borrow a cent.
Exactly.
And that is what happened with government.
Absolutely. And the reality is that we did borrow to an extent because, of course, our revenues are decreased, our expenses are increased. So we did have to borrow. But the fact of the matter is that 3/4 of the increase in our debt to GDP ratio, 3/4 was as a result in the contraction of the GDP.
That is right.
And not because of additional borrowing.
That's
3/4.
That's right.
So the denominator in the fraction.
Say it slow. Say it slow. Say it slow.
The denomination. Yeah. So if you had, let's say 5 out of 15. Let's say let's use the example you use. So you first had 500. You first had 250 over 1,000, which is 25%.
Yes.
So your denominator is 1,000.
Yes.
It has now decreased to 500.
That's right.
So obviously your percentage will increase.
That's right.
And that's what has happened.
Yeah.
So 3/4 of that amount, our increase in the debt to GDP, was as a result of the contraction in the GDP of the country.
That is right.
And a big part of that contraction was actually contraction due to the loss of tourism.
That's right.
A big part of it was that once tourism recovers, your GDP will go back up and your debt to GDP will go back
down.
That's Thank you, Norbert. Thank you. Once your GDP increases, your debt to GDP, all things remaining equal, will go back down.
And that is why
that's
why the government keeps saying we have to increase production. And then also, if you shut down the country for an extended period of time, your GDP is going to get even, your debt to GDP is going to get worse.
GDP, exactly.
You think they don't understand that?
Exactly.
But the 3B's principle in effect, bullshit baffles brains.
Yeah. And that's why the Prime Minister has been saying from the time COVID broke, or from the time we open our borders, that we have to reopen the country. We need to follow the protocols, but reopen the country. Because the country has to have the revenue on which to run.
That's right.
It does not run on salt water. The economy has to run on money. Money fuels the economy. So when people are bashing our tourism industry, that is the effect it has on tourism.
That's right.
Right? But we also saw, when you compare to the debt to GDP in other countries, Barbados, which they love to compare St. Lucia to, when it's convenient for them to do so, they love to compare St. Lucia to Barbados. 2019, Barbados had a debt to GDP ratio of 120.2%.
What does that mean? That means
that
all your money,
all
the money you make, you have to put it to pay in your debt, plus you have to find 25 cents again on each dollar to pay the debt.
Well, no, but that's a thing. And I heard a certain talk show host say that, and I don't know that that's quite correct. Because the reality is you don't pay your debt in 1 year.
Well,
over a long period.
Yes,
so you're not, it's not a payment. It's your debt. It's your debt figure. Because debt can be amortized over 40 years or whatever. So you're not actually paying that in 1 year. Right? But that's your debt figure that year. That's
but that is the calculation.
At that time.
But you see, that is what is used to calculate whether you can get more loans, whether you can pay for services. You know, lots of things depend on your debt to GDP ratio. If you go to the bank and you make $1,000 a month, but your electricity bill is $1,200 because they ask you to see what your bills are, everything else, what you have to pay out. If you tell the bank, it's true, but if you tell the bank that my electricity bill is $1,250 a month, but I only make $500 a month, you think they're going to give you a loan?
No.
You think anybody is going to want to come and deal with you? You think if you want a hot chick who's high maintenance and she wants everything else done every month, and you can barely buy milk, you can't even cook a little food at your home, you can't take her out on a date, let's keep it real, you think she's going to be really interested in anything really because you can't afford?
Exactly.
Like what they say, so you put in your hat higher than your hand or whatever?
You put in your hat where your hands can reach.
Right.
So Barbados in 2019 had a debt to GDP of 120.2%. In 2020, it increased to 144%. St. Lucia is still at 86%. In the same year, St. Lucia is 86%. Barbados is at 144%. Same Barbados they love to conveniently compare us to, but only when it's convenient. Because like they never tell you, they never highlight. Jamaica was at 93% in 2019. They moved to 110% in 2020. Trinidad, with all their resources, all their manufacturing, all their oil, all their bauxite, all the natural resources that St. Lucia doesn't have, they were at 65% in 2019. Remember, we had 59%. They were at 65% and they moved to 80.9%.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're less impacted by tourism. Tourism is not a big industry for them as it is for us. They're less tourism dependent than us. Our GDP contracted by more than theirs because of the decline in tourism. And so they saw a smaller increase in their debt to GDP, right? But when you cannot look at our figures in isolation. You have to look at it compared to other countries, compared to the Labour Party's own record in office. And that's the reality of it, Robert. Yeah.
Any more of those taxes?
Any
more of those taxes you want to read off?
I read off what I have, but you had mentioned some others that you had talked about a few others.
You know what? I don't even think I need to go into that because the Keeping It Real crew out there and the people listening just need to jog their memories a little bit. I don't have to spoon feed them for everything. Just jog your memories a little bit and remember the burdensome imposition of all of these rate increases and tax increases and everything during the former administration. Just remember how business was in St. Lucia, how small businesses were crying, how businesses were closing down, how Vieux-Fort was looking like a ghost town, how the roads were not being fixed, how the schools were not being repaired adequately, how money was not being put into the services which were critical to the people of St. Lucia, but yet still the taxes and the fees were going up and up and up. And on top of all of that, after pulling in all of this money from your pockets, Pete Posh thought, that famous interview, but something happened. We could not borrow. And what was the advice given? That banks and lending institutions would not lend to government because we had to get our financial house in order. What does that say? It means that you did not have your financial house in order. And how is that substantiated? By the evidence. What was happening? The economy, the figures were going down. The economy was contracting. Absolutely. Negative growth.
Absolutely.
In fact, the steps, the forward movement of St. Lucia's economy were actually going backwards in time. And as Guy Joseph had said in the house, these are the only fellas you see that come and say, instead of going forward, the economy going backward. That's what was happening. Iteka ali abate abadlo. And now you all want to come out as if you all are the gurus of finance, the gurus of money management, and say you're going to give all of these bricks. That's ludicrous. It also sounds very fantastic. It sounds fantastically mad. And especially in these times now when everything is so uncertain that you're going moment to moment, you want to come across with these sweeping tax breaks. Madness.
But let's also remind people what the unemployment figure was under the Labour Party. The Labour Party took the unemployment to record highs. Record highs. Right? Unemployment under the Labour Party went up to 25%. Youth unemployment went up to 44%.
Oh.
Record highs. Record highs. Since this government has come in, youth unemployment they've decreased youth unemployment by 10%. It's now 34%. Still more than we would like it to be, but by 10%. That's a significant decrease, sorry. And jobs, companies like ITEL BPO and Ojo Labs that they want to demonize, they are partly responsible for that reduction in youth unemployment. Right? The government has taken the unemployment rate that the Labour Party left at 25% and decreased it to 16.9 prior to COVID. 16.9 from 25. This government has done that.
Wow.
The target, the Prime Minister's target is 15%. We still have a way to go, but we've moved it from 25% to 16.9% unemployment, and that was prior to COVID. Of course, we know that COVID, there are business closures and stuff like that. But prior to COVID, this is the track we were on. COVID has slowed things down like it has slowed things down everywhere in the world. But we know when things reopen, and we know we have a resilient tourism industry, because we saw in the middle of COVID, tourists still want to come to St. Lucia. We see that on the UK, St. Lucia is the top search destination among British people, international destinations.
Yeah.
When things open up, we will see that boost. Even in the midst of COVID, the tourists are still coming. In June, we have more flights We have more flights scheduled in June, in the middle of COVID, than we had in 2019. St. Lucia is a marquee destination. We have an established brand. Lots of work has gone into creating a brand that St. Lucia has, and the value proposition that St. Lucia has in the minds of people. And our tourism industry is being used to fuel other industries like agriculture, like manufacturing, like fisheries, like insurance, like everything else. It fuels these other industries. That's a reality of tourism. Right? So now I want to also talk about something the Labour Party made a big song and dance in the House about traffic, about the $20 million on that PSA 2 miles of road in Rodney Bay. No, but again, you have to increase the productive capacity of your country if you want to
just don't get it.
You have to create capacity in the economy for the country to develop, for the country to advance. You have to do that. So what that does is not $20 million given to Fresh Start. That's not what happened at all. That's not what happened at all. Let me explain this. Let me explain this. This project is financed, something called a DFC. Design, Finance, Construct.
Break that down. Okay? Break that down.
It's not, the Labour Party would have people believe that the government gave Fresh Start $20 million for a contract in the middle of COVID to, instead of assisting people with, instead of giving people that money. That's not what happened. That's a DFC, Design, Finance, Construct. So what happens basically is the company, Fresh Start, puts up the money. They finance the project. So with the help of the government, they design the project. Fresh Start finances it. They build the roads, and over time the government pays them back for that.
That's
over time. But now that we know we have a problem with traffic in the north, it's so hard to get out of that Rodney Bay gap is a bottleneck for traffic in the north. And now that we know how the north has changed in the last 20 years. All kinds of, everything there is in Castries, there is in the north. All banks, Lucilec, all services are in the north now. And a lot of people leave Castries or they go up north because you could find parking unlike Castries and so on. So it was a huge bottleneck, taking people sometimes half an hour to get out of that Rodney Bay gap. So it's not a contract for the sake of a contract. It is traffic alleviation. Again, traffic alleviation. You have to increase your capacity for development.
But hold on.
Reduce on people's time. Time is money.
But hold on. You know, just like I said before, and we've said here before as well, when you reduce the time on the road, it's less fuel that you're burning. It means a reduced cost to you. It means that instead of sitting in traffic for an hour and a half to get to Castries, you make it in half an hour or less, or less than an hour and a half. You know what that means? You're more productive when you get to work because you're not flustered, you're not bothered, you don't have road rage, you're not enragé. It's less wear and tear on your vehicle. All of this because you increase the capacity of your roadways to move traffic. You know what? When you have that big deal to go on or that interview for your job, instead of being stuck in traffic and you lose out on it, guess what? You get to your job on time. You get to make that business appointment on time. You look more business-like. You look more professional. People do business with you. All of these little things are associated with that. It's just like fixing the roads. If you have a bad road, you blow out your tires, you get shock problems, you have all types of issues. You have to drive slower. It gets you where you're going later. People get to work late. The cost of maintenance on your vehicle is more. Insurance rates will go up because you have to pay for all of these things from insurance. If you have an accident, you try to swerve a road. There was a calypso about it years ago. 222 Cafe Monfour, fix the roads. All of these things have an impact on the economy. But the SLP will have you believe that they are so naive, that they're so deck, that they don't understand it, that they have this itis, this bugwenitis thing that's afflicting their minds. When they get on like bugwen, I mean, I have to say it, bugwenitis. I mean, come on, man. I mean, these are concepts that you're supposed to understand if you want to get into government. And especially, as Philip J. Pierre, you say, well, I followed in the footsteps of all of these prime ministers in the region because they served 25 years or more. Well, where is the... You were Minister of Infrastructure at one time, Philip. Where is the sense and sensibility that came in there? Have you been afflicted by Bugwenism? Bugwenitis?
No, but I think you should make some burgundy t-shirts. Print some burgundy
and
t-shirts
put Bugwen on it.
The front, and I want one.
Bugwenitis. Yeah.
I want Bugwenitis. That's what I want.
Yeah, so I think I will get those printed today for tomorrow. Bugwenitis for you to go canvassing.
In Burgundy. Make sure it's in Burgundy.
In Burgundy, yes. So the report will come out next week now. People are going around pretending to be SLP canvassers with a t-shirt on it saying Bugwenitis.
Bugwenitis. But going back to the point of traffic alleviation, and it goes to what I always say about this Prime Minister, the visionary, that he realizes that development does not just happen. Development has to be planned. Just like Sir John, you have to plan for development multiple years out, multiple generations out, multiple decades out. Development does not just happen. You have to increase the capacity of your country. And one of the ways you do that is by increasing the infrastructure of your country. Traffic was a huge issue in that area. There was a bottleneck. People had unproductive times.
That's right.
In their vehicles.
That's right.
Bus drivers, taxi drivers shuttling tourists back and forth to the airport. Right. People sitting and getting to work. People trying to do business in the north. Unproductive time. What's the sum total of that time people spend sitting in their vehicles?
You know what they call it?
The environment of fuel, of gas emissions in the
That's right.
environment.
Loss of man hours.
That is not giving Fresh Start a contract. What nonsense is that? That is about traffic alleviation. Fresh Start is financing the work that is going on there. They will be paid over time. That is a good thing. That is the vision. But the Labour Party don't have it. In my St. Lucian accent, Labour Party don't have it. They don't have that vision for the development. There's no long-term planning. They think in 5-year chunks. They think their thinking is very 5-year. The triple their thinking is very 5-year. It's all about getting re-elected, pandering to people to get them re-elected, to get them votes. While the reality is that development sometimes is not politically cute. Sometimes you have to make the hard choices like this Prime Minister has had to do.
Somebody sent me a message.
Sometimes it's not politically popular. But that's a reality. You have to take those hard decisions that on hindsight, 10, 20, 30 years after, just like Sir John, you will look back and say, that was a good thing. But you have to have the political will and the political balls to do it, which is what this Prime Minister has.
The cojones. Well, somebody sent me a message here. And they said, good morning to you, my brother. I can be on a plane for 25 years. That doesn't make me a pilot. That's what happened to Pip.
But it's amazing the hypocrisy of the Labour Party as well. So they want to hit the DFCs, the Design Finance Construct programs that the government has arranged with Fresh Start to do certain projects and they paid for later. But it's very similar to the Labour Party's PPP, the private-public sector partnerships that they always advocate, partnership that they always advocating for. Very similar. It's somewhat of a PPP where the private sector partner is financing the project. Perhaps they get their own loan, right? And constructs a project, which is usually designed with input from the government, and then they repay the private sector partner based on the agreed terms of the arrangement. Very similar, DFC, very similar to the Labour Party's PPP that they're always advocating for.
But before they jump out, let me block them before they take Douvan. I'm taking Douvan first. You referred that to PPP and the airport. But the whole plan that they had, the Pété Poche plan for the airport, was that the developer of the airport would have 30 years of collecting that tax. And that is the egregious part of it. But we're not going to get into that right now. Should we take some calls?
Absolutely, we should.
Okay, the phone is back on the hook, 456-0931. 456-0931. Folks, as I have stated before, when Minerva is on, there's no calls via WhatsApp. We have our first call. Good morning, you're on the air. Let's keep it real.
Good morning, the two of you.
Good boy. Good morning.
Boy, I have so much work to do, you know. I heard you all talking about a whole lot of taxes that the party had introduced.
Mm-hmm.
But you all forget the biggest one. The environmental levy.
Oh, on vehicles. Yeah.
Not only on vehicles, they first introduced it on everything that you brought in. Afterwards, when the second-hand vehicles started pouring into St. Lucia, you had an environmental levy of $4,000, $6,000, and $12,000.
Wow.
Depending on the year of the vehicle. I want you all to remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you was talking about where the money gone. Let me mention something to you.
Mm-hmm.
You know a place of you fought called Coconan?
Yeah.
The Labour government.
That's at the end of at the end of the runway. That's the Labrie end. Yes. The Labrie end.
Yes.
Yeah.
They decided that they're going to develop the land there. They're going to sell the land there for housing, for both housing and commercial activity and commercial activities. A whole lot of lands were sold, okay? And when you heard the shout, they never spoke to the DCA or got any or any advice from the DCA. Now, I'm not talking about the local DCA. I'm talking about the Directorate of
Civil Aviation. Okay.
All right?
Yeah.
And when you heard the shout, those people who have bought the land, they couldn't do anything there.
Because it's on the approach.
Ah, great.
It's on the approach to the runway.
A particular person who hurriedly tried to put up a steel structure. Somebody who supported the Labour Party full time. Now, I don't know whether the money that person got back was best value for money, but what transpired there is that there was a small steel structure there. In terms of anything, the lawyer for that person was a government official from Choiseul. He was a parliamentarian from Choiseul at the time. Let us talk like an Englishman. And he was representing the lady while his government was in office. And
against the government.
And SLASPA was pressured to pay the lady $5 million for emotional distress and all kinds of things. Pressured. So I am telling you all the kind of things that has happened in St. Lucia under the Labour government. Emotional distress. She built and she can't use the land and
That's emotional distress, Papi.
You have to understand what goes on.
So hold on. Did they pay?
SLASPA, Gaffa, you know who was in office. Did they call our Prime Minister a dictator? But you should have known who was in office at the time. And how SLASPA was pressured.
Will you answer me yet? Did they pay?
Yes, they did.
For emotional distress?
Emotional distress and all kind of thing. They negotiated and
You gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me.
Well then, brother.
You get your money back. You get your money back. Where's the emotional distress?
Money back, the smaller people got what they paid for the land. But the big honcho.
You joking? I need more information on that. I need to dig into that one a little more.
Dig into it. Yeah, dig into it. And it's a nice time to dig into it, brother.
Yeah.
Nice time to dig into
the
government.
I'll do just like champagne and give you the special effect. Wow.
Wow? What you call it? But if you know the kind of, when they're talking about family, friends, and foreigners, you have to talk about these kind of things and who gave Pajero, I'm not Pajero, who gave Toyota, what they call it?
Prado.
Prada after people left office and all that kind of thing. You must check those things, and check how it goes and how it happens. All right?
And how somebody, I think, did somebody say they were broke and they didn't have money and business people bought them a vehicle too?
They broke and they didn't have money and then when they were driving under the influence and knocked somebody, they wanted to be wrong and right. They wanted to be wrong and right at the same time.
Wow.
Huh?
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
All right, brothers.
Thank you very much, caller.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thanks for keeping it real. Wow. That's what I can say. 4560931. We have our next call, and they're going to be coming in fast and furious. Good morning. You're on the air. Let's keep it real.
Hi, good morning, Norbert.
Morning, sir. How are you?
And good morning, Minova. I'm fine.
Good morning, sir.
First of all, I want to thank you for the financial lesson this morning.
Oh, you're welcome, Minova.
I don't think we'll get that anywhere in the world. But which leads me to say, Norbert, it just shows that probably we in this country, as part of our curriculum, we need to introduce financial literacy to our children.
Business sense.
And to our students.
Yeah, I agree.
I think what that would stop, and maybe for generations to come, it would prevent politicians from coming and trying to, as you call it, BBB people.
Yeah.
Because they would have the basics, they would know how to handle money, the basics of money. And you cannot come and tell them that you're going to give them tax cuts and this and that, or not knowing how it is being funded.
Yeah.
And what revenues are they going to lose and so on.
Yeah.
You know? And you also spoke about the capital projects like the roads.
Yeah.
I don't think the Labour Party understands the multiplier effect of those capital projects.
Yes.
You know, when you tell people that they cannot eat roads, look at what stems from building roads and schools and all those kind of things. But it was a really, really good lesson from Minerva on yourself this morning, and I hope that people listen to what he was saying. And something else I wanted to mention, but whether we like it or not, governments normally run on personal chemistry. In the days of Compton, you had George Mallet. They got on really well.
Yeah.
I think this time in this government, the economic minister and the prime minister, they get on very well. But I don't think we had that in the Labour Party. And when you look at, if for some remote reason that these guys are to get into government, you cannot see any personal chemistry among the lot. There seems to be a lot of division even now.
Infighting.
So I think we need to look at these things and don't even give these guys a whiff, not a chance of getting into office. There is no personal chemistry between any of those horsemen, as you call them. And I think we should make the right choice. I'm calling on the people of St. Lucia to make the right choice and keep this country moving forward. Thank you.
It seems to me like all of them are doing their own thing. Thank you, caller.
Thank you. Have a great
day. You know,
day.
there's a saying, there's a time in Israel where there was no leader. Everybody did whatever they wanted. And it seems that's how it is with the Labour Party. Everybody's doing their own thing.
Good morning. You're on the air. Let's keep it real.
Good morning.
Morning, sir.
Yeah.
Good morning.
I would just like to make like a few quick points.
Sure.
I don't want to hold the line too long because then there are people coming through. That video with Bill Elliott and Alva Baptiste when he was so nervous when they asked him about
GDP.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you know that if you watch all the videos that he used to mention that quite often?
GDP, debt to GDP, debt to GDP.
And when they ask you the question, you're so nervous. Why are you nervous?
He bursts.
Why are you so nervous? I really want to know because you figure, well, boy, everybody is ignorant about it.
Maybe caller. Maybe it was Carcaglow.
What was it?
Maybe it was Carcaglow.
These are the guys who are serving in office in government and not even understanding what GDP is.
Yes, we know. Now, I'm a young person, right? Well, I've never voted in my life. And this coming election, I'm going to vote. Because the choice is clear.
Yeah.
It's really clear. You have a government that have a plan. And you have a government that knows what they're doing. And I cannot afford to spoil my food.
Yeah.
Make the right choice. And one other thing I wanted to say was, I spoke to a guy and then, we were having a conversation about, small politics, talk about Philip JPA and, so he's a big support of Philip JPA. And he was like, I told him, you're going to lose that election, you all know that, right? And he was like, if we lose, it's going to be World War III. And I say, you know what, that's just typical Labour for you. Always want to fight, always want bloodshed, always want to argue. Yes, typical Labour. But anyway, young people make the right choice and we all put the right place for the development of our country. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, caller. Thank you so much.
Thank you, caller.
I have a message here from someone, and they said, I was just reviewing the statutory instruments online between 2012 and 2016 and counted that between that 2012 and 2015, the Labour Party granted about 13. They granted 13 alien landholding licenses. Stand by, caller. 13 alien landholding licenses. Talk about selling land to foreigners. Good morning. You on the air. Let's keep it real.
Yes, good morning, Minoba. Good morning, Mr. Nobad.
Morning, sir.
Mr. Nobad, I have one simple question to ask you.
Yes.
Can you tell me which party that was trying to implement license on dogs you have in your area?
I don't know.
Okay, it was the SLB.
Okay. Well, I figured that. I didn't want to say and I didn't know.
You know, they was trying to tax you if you have dogs in your yard.
Uh-huh. What year was that? Do you remember?
No, I can't quite remember, but somebody might remember. They might call you on.
Okay, great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Not a damn seat for them, folks.
Mama, that what Chamber say. Not a damn seat for them. Not a single seat on election day. Not a damn seat for them. How they lose, they can't understand. Not a damn seat for them. They call in Chambers a Obia man.
4560931. Folks, on the WhatsApp number 4850931. When my co-host is here, we don't take calls on that because we're using that for the call. 4560931. You can send a message on WhatsApp 4850931. Good morning, you're on the air. Let's keep it real.
Good morning, brother Norbert.
Morning, sir.
How are you guys doing?
Morning.
Good morning.
Good.
Good, thank you.
Last night, your friend, your buddy, brother Norbert, your buddy who cannot travel to the U.S., he doesn't have a visa, keep repeating that same nonsense about things that were debunked before on your
Yeah,
show.
yeah.
About GDP.
Caller, you expect him to stop?
GDP and cost overruns and friends and family, and to the point where he went personal in Nancy, presented a check, and all. Your body just not giving.
The usual, the usuals.
I heard about a checkbook, you know. I heard about a checkbook. But
Yeah,
anyway.
I could tell you about the checkbook, but I leave in that for when the election draws nearer, and I'll ask your buddy a couple questions about that checkbook. But we leave in that for. You see, when you're fighting a war, brother Norbert, as you know, you don't give out your ammunition to you leave it. You keep your ammunition back. But your buddy keeps repeating the same thing about the government spends so much money in rent from this amount to 170,000. And a caller on, I think it was Wednesday, called Constituency 5, Nancy Charles was on. And he said, look, if the government have renters, and because of COVID and mole infestation, and they move to another location, there will be unforeseen costs. But your buddy is making the population believe that the government is spending so much money in rentals and whatever. And I need to remind your buddy that his party, because he came openly and said he will be the candidate for the St. Lucia Labour Party. So I want you to remind your buddy that it was his party who stopped the school transportation subsidy. Mm-hmm. It was his Labour Party who stopped the school feeding program. It is his Labour Party, and I need you to get those clips, that clip, brother Norbert, with Philip Jipe saying that once, if they win, like some big if, they win the election, they will close down, shut down Ojo Lab. So I'm telling your buddy, it is his party who threatening to close down Ojo Lab. That will put a number of young people on the breadline.
Hundreds.
It is his party, your buddy, who passed. Remember the affirmative action?
Yeah.
Remember
affirmative action and Siberia. Remind them.
Remember when they went to this famous convention in Babono, and they talking about friends, family.
Yeah.
Remember when they passed this affirmative action, that only Labour Party supporters should get work in this country.
That's right.
Remember
That's
who
right.
supported that resolution?
Tell us who supported it.
Minova knows. Let Minova tell you who supported it.
Minova.
He was around. So I want to tell your buddy that, and then he and your buddy, I don't really listen to the show, but people call me. They have this song, We Mashing Up Yellow Man, and they have a video.
Come on to mash up Yellow Man.
Presenting Alan Tasca, our Prime Minister, and CDGP, and they comparing race.
Yeah.
When people clamoring in this country for the past 2 days that we need to get the race thing out of our politics.
Yeah.
But last night your buddy was on his show promoting racism. And he doesn't seem to understand that we don't, St. Lucia is too much of a small country to be pushing racism.
Does that negative narrative work? Who's buying into that negative narrative? That politics of division in St. Lucia? Who's really buying into that? You think decent St. Lucians are buying into that narrative? You think swing voters, you think people on the fence are buying into this narrative that the Labour Party is creating of division and politics of racism?
There's no room
I think
for racism in St. Lucia.
I think it's working against them, actually.
We're too much of a small country to be pushing this. And you see all these people on Facebook, the Labour Party supporters, they spew hate, they spew. But I have one thing to tell your buddy. When this Prime Minister, this competent Prime Minister calls the election, he will have to see Alan Chastanet for another 5 years. And I don't know what he's going to do, your buddy, because he can't run nowhere. He can't go to America because he has no visa. So when will your buddy run, Brother Norbert?
Okay then, caller. Thank you very much. You have to take a run. Thank a lot. Thanks for keeping it real.
Thank you, caller. Have a good day.
4560931. 4560931. Let's get to talk about what's going on. So, Minova, the usual fluff and bluff, the 3Bs principle, bullshit baffles brains, and in our House of Parliament, campaigning, because that's what they see as the only option, the last grandstand of the SLP to spew their nonsense. And that's what it is, nonsense. Good morning, you're on the air. Let's keep it real.
Yeah, morning.
Morning, sir.
Yeah. To make a contribution.
Okay, can you turn down the device you have in the background, please?
I do that already.
Okay. Go ahead, caller.
Yeah, good morning, Norbert.
Good morning.
Norbert, I'm amazed to hear that Philip J. Pierce said when they get into office, they're going to remove the tax from people that earning from $4,000
less a month.
But I was talking to a principal of a school at one point, and she told me that you must have a degree to earn $4,000 as a principal.
Exactly. Exactly.
You must have a degree to earn $4,000. So that means that no teachers, I could say almost no teachers will be paying tax, because not many teachers that get in 4,000, maybe 4,000 up a little bit. So if you have degree or not, but those teachers without any degree, about 4 or even less than that. So what I'm saying as though if that have to happen, no teachers will be paying tax. So everybody will be almost like a tax-free country. And in this hard time we are living now, the whole world is in crisis. And Philip J. put it before us to vote him in. So therefore, when he gets in, he's going to remove all those taxes, property tax, this tax, that tax.
Like VAT kay mote.
Côté nous capons l'argent ça là pour qu'on rentre pays, nous pas ni l'huile, nous pas ni gaz,
nous pas ni diamant.
Just
But we have something, caller.
Yeah,
you're forgetting what it is.
Yeah,
it's called VAT. No need VAT.
Natural beauty, we have those things.
No need VAT.
No need VAT.
That's what they're going to put it on. VAT kai point. Pete posh.
How the country going to run?
Pete posh.
But there is something I wanted to say again, Norbert. If the if the Labour Party had won the 2016 general election,
no fini.
C'est pas pour tout cela. Est-ce que DSH programme ça, you can parler about là?
Full effect.
That would be full effect in St. Lucia. That is what they was going to run this election we're coming on. Because they was going to have that project going, even more advanced than that is now.
Oh yeah.
So some people want to allow the Labour Party to fool them that they're against the essence. That's not true. That was their plan for this election. They was going to abide with the rules and the regulations, with the entrepreneurs, and run that place. Now, that is what it is. So they were so disappointed that they lost the election. They cannot go with it, and then what happens then? They don't have a base to campaign. They don't have a base to campaign. They campaign on any small thing.
Well said, caller. Anything at all. And see a mush.
They don't have a base to campaign on.
See a mush passe là, you can fait
a problem. Tout ça gouvernement.
Well said, caller.
Everything the government trying to do, they trying to object it. Listen to that. If we allow that Labour Party to win that election, I don't think St. Lucia are going to have anything of value. We're not going to have anything of value in St. Lucia because everything the government trying to put in place,
they oppose everything. Everything.
That's unbelievable.
It's ridiculous. Thank you very much, caller.
You're welcome.
Have a great day. Thanks for calling.
Okay, we have some messages, folks, so we're going to get into those bright and immediately. Okay, good morning, Norbert and Minerva. I'm enjoying the program as usual. North Dakota is always in the house, keeping it real, daytime, nighttime, including Crossfire. We're always locked on. Thank you so much for what you're doing. Have a great weekend, and let's keep working. Next one. Good morning, N&M. Wait, N&M. You like that, Minerva? Good morning, N&M. I don't know who is feeding Philip J. Pierre with that information. It's either they're setting him up to fail, or is he writing his own stuff? What a mess in the Prime Minister in waiting. My people, the Labour Party has lost their way. Day by day, they're exposing themselves for a severe butt beating by the UWP. Thank you, N&M. Have a wonderful weekend. Have a wonderful weekend too. Next message, Norbert. Good morning, Norbert and Minerva. Philip J. Pierre wants to make the rich richer and the poor poorer. Poor people do not pay property taxes. It's mainly the middle class and the upper class who have houses of a certain value. By removing property tax, he will have to get it from other taxes, which he has not told us about. These taxes may very well make the poor poorer. I only hope Philip J. Pierre tells us where he will get the money to run the country when he removes all these taxes. Norbert, will he increase VAT to recoup the lost income? If that is the case, then VAT will have to be increased by to 25% or more. If this happens, all of us will stick in that, including the rich. You'll stick in that, Minova? Good morning, Mr. William. Who's that? Williams. Good morning, Mr. William. Can you help me understand what it means by income support and unemployment? Because I heard a gentleman who's supposed to be a brilliant guy is giving some explanation of what it's supposed to mean. But for some reason, my brain cannot process that. What he's actually saying, or to my understanding, is that the government ought to take those funds and pass house to house, I guess the funds, the monies, the loans for the roads and everything else, go house to house and distribute it. And for some reason, I cannot process that. And these are the things the Labour Party is doing, playing with the ignorance of some of our St. Lucians, because a lot of us don't like to work. We like freeness. The majority of us wouldn't like to learn how to fish. They rather somebody bring a fish to them. The good book says, by the sweat of thy brow you shall eat bread. And again, with this fluff and bluff, how many St. Lucians presently earn $4,000 a month? Lucians, watch your bread. Next one. Good morning, Mr. Norbert. Happy greetings. Happy greetings are going out to my mother, Mistress Plant from Dennery, and also just letting you know she loves your talk show. Meneva, good morning to you. Great job, you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And special happy greetings, happy birthday greetings to Mistress Plant from Dennery. Next one. Morning, Norbert. Thank God for the UWP. We're getting water so much better than before. This started from under the Honorable Stevenson King, and then it went bad after they lost. And then, when the UWP came back into office, it's restored again. Thank God. Give me UWP any day. Next one. Bugwenitis. Ha ha ha. Oh Lord Norbert Williams, you are killing me. Yes, they're afflicted with bugwenitis. I'm telling you. Next one. Good morning, team. Great program. This one is well said. Mr. PM. People don't eat roads, but roads provide an avenue for people to eat. Let's keep working. Next one. Good morning, my well-blended team of Keeping It Real. Wow. I am listening, but felt too busy this morning to contribute much. But hearing about the introduction of new plans by the SLP as it relates to taxes, I must say one thing. We can find out if, in their reign, they paid employees' salaries at a few businesses in Vieux Fort. That's what he had to do to prevent these businesses from sinking. Where there's smoke, there's fire. Yeah. Next one. Oh, somebody sent me some photos. And they said, this is the bridge in Micoud South. Okay. Next one. Good morning. Oh, he has a gold mine under the Philip Hindu Park. Good morning. And STX, I guess that's St. Croix. Yes, it is. The area code is St. Croix. And final message there. Good morning, Mr. Norbert. I would like to get a ref. I would like to get a red Keeping It Real t-shirt. Okay. Alrighty. Well, that's it. The messages. You want to take any more calls, Minerva?
Sure, we can take a couple more
folks,
calls.
the line is back on 4560931. We have another message that just popped up. Morning, guys. I want to plead to tell people to stop saying make the right decision, but say categorically vote UWP. Good morning. I see someone has adopted my N&M. Guys, this was a great lesson this morning. I now understand GDP in a way that allows me to explain to others. Even though I'm not a politician, I don't ever want to be like Alva. Good morning, you're on the air. Let's keep it real.
Hello, good morning, Mr. Norbert.
Morning, sir. How are you? Labry again?
Yes.
I heard the chickens in the background, man.
You just mentioned my ref name, man.
Yeah. Make it quick.
What a coincidence. All right, let me tell you. Today, in my segment, I call today, this is the Labry segment.
Okay.
And I call it Fire Friday because I'm about to fire.
Fire. Okay.
Yeah. Number one, my rep has said in a number of occasions in Parliament that people don't eat roads.
Yeah.
But one reason that I respect this man is that in the entire Labour Party, he was the one that did the most roads in his community.
Yeah, wow.
He did the most roads, man. I respect this man for that. But you cannot come today and tell people that people don't eat roads. Because my family benefited from the roads that were created. And we continue to benefit from it. And so many businesses have been created because that we have good roads now.
Yeah.
So you cannot come today and tell people that people don't eat roads. You know people don't eat roads, but you know what they eat. Do you know what they eat?
Food.
Yeah, and not just eat, you know the benefit of it as well. So I'm telling him, don't come and tell people don't eat roads. Good morning, Mino. Sorry for not recognizing you.
Good morning. That's okay. That's fine.
But I'm fine. That's why I stopped. But my other concern is that the rep has not been coming to the community to examine what has been going on, what has been developing, what has not been developing. One topic I want to speak about is the amount of young fishermen that we have going to sea right now. And more than half of these fishermen are not even registered fishermen. Young guys between the age of 18 to 25 years, going to sea, don't even know how to read a compass properly, don't even know how to, and there are so many of them going to sea, because that's the only real, after creating a bar, because we have a lot of bars in Liberia, we have a lot of bars, there are alcoholic problems in Liberia. And that's why you find so many bars are being created. So many people drink alcohol in Liberia. So the number one business in Liberia right now is a bar. That is the number one business in Liberia, a bar. Because so many people drink alcohol from 6 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning until 9 o'clock the following day.
Wow.
And that's not, it's not telling you that because I don't drink. That's where it's at. It's a fact. And I own a bar as well. But back to the fishermen. There are so many young guys going to sea because that is the only profession that really generates any sort of income into Liberia right now. And nobody is not paying full attention to these young people going to sea, how they're going to sea, what can be done for these guys. Nobody's not paying attention. Yes, we have a fisher's cooperative, and I do not want to go into that because I do not know what is the full details of them. But I know for a fact those I speak to, the young fishermen that I speak to, are not registered with the Fishers Cooperative, and they're not even willing to get registered because maybe of the fee that you have to pay, or there is no interest in registering. It is not attractive, so they say, because of the amount, the people that are on it or whoever, that they don't find it attractive to go to there. And I really find that the rep should come down, if he is interested, still interested, to come and find out exactly what has been going on for the past couple of years. It's not when he is in power alone for you to come down and say you're going to do this, you're going to do that. No, man, you are given a responsibility by the people to serve the people. Come down and find out what's going on. Don't just come there and start campaigning because the election is coming around. It's time that you come and find out what are the things going on. What is going on with the fishermen? What is going on with these farmers? What is going on with these people? Don't come and say that right now, election time, you want to come and campaign. No. You have to come with something better than that, man. Don't just come there and say, now is election time and it's time for you to vote and this and that. No, man. We have problems. We have problems and we need problems to be fixed.
Great.
And we need a hearing air. We really need a hearing air from the rep. And he has not been doing a good job. For the past 4 years, from the time he lost the election, he has not been doing a good job. Somebody can say what they want, he has not been doing a good job. You will put there and you are getting paid a salary every month to work for the people, and he has not been doing that. And that's just one fire this morning. Good morning, everybody. Have a nice day.
Thank you very much, caller. Thanks for keeping it real.
Have a great day.
Have a great weekend, too. Okay, so I have two messages here that I must read. Two messages here that I must read. They're profound. The first one: it is clear that our Prime Minister in dreaming has transitioned from the youth economy to the PIP economy. I suggest the M&N Institute start a thesis assignment in the coming weeks on the PIP economy. I propose every Monday should be declared PIP economy thesis day. Well, it's Tuesdays and Fridays unless you know who comes here Monday morning. Let's take out the boyo of the PIP economy. Caller, today is Friday, but I'll give you a peep, no pun intended, at the first lesson at the M&N Institute. Our first lesson describing what is Bugwenitis. Okay? Bugwenitis. So here's one. In the SLP's long-established tradition of opposition for opposition's sake, they opposed the UWP government when it was trying to refurbish the Daha Mall in Bois d'Orange, which would have helped to reduce government expenditure on rent. Wow. And they're concerned about rent, how much money government is spending in rent. They also opposed the construction of the government buildings on the waterfront, I remember that, which helped to reduce more expenditure on rent. They called it Castries in the Sky. That's what they called it in the 80s. I think it was around, let me give you what year. I'll tell you what year they started over there, about 1986, somewhere around there. 86, if my memory serves me correct, when they started the first building, 86, 87, somewhere around there. They called it Castries in the Sky, trying to ridicule it, the same way how they called the Millennium Highway and the tunnels, their tunnel vision. And they found a name to a derogatory name for everything, just like they call in St. Jude's Hospital in Vieux-Fort monstrosity. They find a nasty, dirty name to call everything, to develop in people's minds these negative connotations. You know? Not a damn seat for them, that's what I say.
Not a damn seat for them. This is what PNM do for we. Not a damn seat for them. They give we freedom and liberty. Not a damn seat for
what they not getting? What you say? Oh my gosh. Whoopsie mama. Not a damn seat for them. You're all too wicked. The people of St. Lucia have to teach them a lesson. Licks! That's what I say. Again, more licks than ice cream. So, Minerva, we've come to the end, or you want to go for another hour?
Yeah. We could take a couple more
we'll
calls
take
if they come in, otherwise you
okay, great. 456-0931. 456. Castles in the Sky. Yeah, Castles in the Sky. It wasn't Castries in the Sky. Castles in the Sky. 456-0931. You might be the lucky last few callers. Let's hear what your take is on our discussion this morning about GDP, about the pie in the sky tax breaks for the workers of St. Lucia. Good morning, you're on the air. Let's keep it real.
Hi, good morning. Just very briefly.
Good morning. You need to turn down your radio device. I'm getting echo.
Okay. Yes. I just want to say to my laborian that he probably may well be the answer to the concerns and the questions been asking over the last 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
I think that we really need, in order for the community and things to develop properly, to need a good vision and the proper leadership to implement that vision.
Yeah.
And I think, as I said, it may well be the answer to this issue. So I know we don't have much time, so I just wanted to say that probably follow that up later.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much, caller. Thanks for keeping it real.
Thank you, caller.
Thank you. Have a great day. 456 0931. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Let's take this one. Good morning, you're on the air. Let's keep it real.
Morning.
Morning, sir.
Good morning.
Sapat. Dus bal. Sapat. Ou ka jouer dominos.
Okay.
Nice. Oh, ça bon. Merci. Thanks for calling. Yes, Minerva.
So, Norbert, going back to the sweeping tax breaks that Philippe wants to give, not acknowledging the fact that it's going to be a significant reduction in revenues to the country, where is he proposing to meet the shortfalls from?
I don't know.
Is he planning to increase VAT?
The oil. Grindberg oil.
But the reality is we know we have no natural resources. There's no oil that we've discovered as yet. And even if we do discover oil, it doesn't belong to us. It belongs to Grindberg. There's no diamonds. There's no gold. Where does he? But
maybe
in all honesty,
maybe
no,
green gold. Maybe he's thinking of green gold. He's confused with that. Green gold.
But all jokes aside,
yeah.
Where does Philippe expect to meet the shortfall?
I don't know.
In revenues from?
I don't know.
And that's a serious question people need to pose to him.
Yeah.
Is he planning to increase VAT from? Even at 15%, it's not going to meet that shortfall in revenue.
I think everybody can see. I think everybody can see that the money is going to have to be made up somewhere else, and that more than likely, especially with the record of the SLP, that more than likely is going to be an increase in rates in lots of things, including VAT. No doubt about it. It's just like your salary gets cut, but you still have your bills to pay. You still want to put a piece on your house. You still want to fix the roof. You still want to build another room because you have another child on the way. The money must come from somewhere. It must come from somewhere.
And on top of that, you're offering everybody handouts because you want everybody to live.
You're not fixing the road.
Nothing, and we'll take care of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have quite a few messages.
Where's the money coming from?
I don't know. Pete Posh. That's where it's coming from. Pete Posh. Let me go through these quick. Good morning, Nobby. Philip J. Pierre is associating himself with Kenny D. Anthony in order to get the votes of Kenny supporters. This is similar to the Republicans embracing Trump, who was a total failure just to find favor with Trump's supporters. Next one, all the way from Canada. The tax breaks that the PJP speaks of is very similar to the campaign promises the SLP gave St. Lucians in 2011, simply to win an election. Promises that never materialized. Empty promises, yet again. This is so wicked. Last time he said 100 million immediately into the economy. This time Philip JP said 120 million. Yeah, among other things, cut salaries for everybody.
So far, all the campaign promises we've heard from the Labour Party make absolutely no sense.
No sense.
There's nothing credible in there.
Not at all.
Youth economy, smart city in cul-de-sac.
Maneuver, I'm tired of telling you that. Say it properly. Youth. It's youth.
So far, we have not heard a single sensible campaign promise from the Labour Party. One that's realistic, one that's achievable, implementable. We've not heard a single one. On the eve of an election, and they're asking to call elections now, call elections now. Call elections now. What is your platform? What is your campaign? On what's the basis of your campain? Labour Party had told us jobs, jobs, jobs in 2011, $100 million in job creation. You know, at least people are fooled by that. People were fooled by that, right? But at least there's a campaign. At least there was something. But what is the campaign strategy? What is their message for this going into this election? Call the election now, and they have none. None that makes sense. I mean, even their own supporters can see that makes absolutely no sense. When revenues are already down, you're offering sweeping tax breaks that nobody asked you for.
Handout.
I'm trying to understand the messaging, Norbert. And the eve of the election, they're worried about people coming by their house to a burger and t-shirt, people in the real in front of it.
Yeah, I already, you know the association, trying to associate keeping it real with something negative. That's the strategy there, you know. That's it. Keeping it real every day. Well, I'm keeping it real here. That's a load of fluff and bluff. And ain't nobody going around with keeping it real t-shirts pretending to be SLP canvassers. Not boy, monsieur. Why?
When you don't want it, Bugwenism?
Bugwenitis.
Make sure you save mine from here. Bugwenitis. Make sure you save mine from here.
Monsieur. Okay, so some messages here. Boy, I tell you, boy, this, I, maman, pété poche. Gouvernement pété poche, c'est ça, c'est pour ça. Good morning, Norbert and Minerva. I was hoping Pip would make a final effort to redeem himself, but after hearing him, I am convinced that he is a political abebe. Next one. Good morning. Remember the song, We Don't Want No Castles in the Sky? All right. Next one. Guys, plan number 6 is that the civil service will be cut by a short 10%. Oh, maybe that might be part of it to fund all of those cuts. I hear Kenny said that when Labour wins, they will investigate everything the government has done and stop DSH and Ojo Labs. Nabert. That's my name now, Nabert. Ask Alva to go and take the Taiwan money and build the people of Oja Community Center. I don't know what that's alluding to. Somebody knows something that I don't. And somebody sent me a video which I can't watch here and play. We'll take 2 more calls or so. Oh, I just put it back.
Yep.
Wow, that was quick. Good morning, you on the air. Let's keep it real.
Good morning, and how are you doing?
Hey, morning, sir, folks. Honorable Guy Joseph. Thank you.
Good morning, Miss Minerva.
Good morning, Mr. Minister. Good morning.
Yes, very interesting program, especially on the matter of GDP.
Yeah.
I must tell you, I was really hoping that during my budget presentation, I would have had sufficient time to just run over some basics in the GDP so that people can have a better appreciation of the foolishness being spoken of by the St. Lucia Labour Party.
Yeah.
But I think this coming Monday on my program, I will deal with some of GDP, some of the GDP numbers in St. Lucia.
Yeah.
And it is clear that it's a flawed plan. Now, Labour Party wanted to come. Isn't it 5 things that Philip announced that he would do?
Yeah.
Now remember, the UWP came with 5 to stay alive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I think that is 5 to die.
5 to die.
Yes. 5 to die.
I'm going to die.
5 to kill you, whatever you want to. Or 5 to kill St.
5 to mash up the country.
So 5 to kill St. Lucia. And he's fascinated with 5. Remember, $5
to block a hole. Yeah.
Block a hole.
Yes. So I want, because I've been analyzing, and let me just tell the people of St. Lucia a simple matter. No, but if a parent, maybe who both of them work, if parents, both of them working, maybe each getting $5,000 or $4,000 a month, have one child go into secondary school.
Yeah.
So let's say the family income is $9,000 or $10,000 a month. You telling me that you making a decision that you are going to pay math and English for these 2 children, for this one child of the parent who's earning $10,000 a month. How does that help the mother who is unemployed and cannot pay for one subject? So even if you pay for math and English for that child, so the other subjects they have to write, what happens to them? You see, our program of subsidy must be targeted to the right people.
That's
so
right. That's
the
right.
idea is not a bad idea, but it is badly thought out.
Yes.
If you want to say people below a certain income level in the country, that the government is going to pay the CXCs for them, because we all politicians on both sides of the political divide pay CXCs to help people at different points in time. And that is a matter that I have raised, that look at, no child should be in a situation where they cannot pay for the CXCs after 5 years of attending school. No child should be put through that. And that is why in my area, when I saw the number of children who made it through CXC, got their subjects, and they would come to me to get a job, and when I asked them for their CV, I'd ask them, why didn't you attend SAFA? And they would tell me my parents could not afford. You know, from the time I came into government to now, I have paid for over 300 children to attend SAFA Lewis Community College, in helping them with their tuition. So when the Labour Party come with their cheap politics, I don't want to hold the line too much. I wanted to make that point. They have never been able to grow the GDP in this country as much as UWP has, because there's been some growth under them at some point in time, but not anything to the rate.
That's right.
For that matter, the 5 years between 2011 and 2016, the GDP went down under their watch. And I want to say the last thing to them on income support. The same thing they're telling you, go and give people money. When unemployment was high in St. Lucia, young people could not get jobs. The government went into an income support arrangement with Ojo Labs. To encourage them to come to St. Lucia. to employ our young people who are not equipped and skilled for these jobs yet. So it was like on-the-job training for them.
Absolutely.
You heard how much the Labour Party opposed that.
Yeah.
And I heard one of the messages that you read. Now, but I am aware of the businesses in Vieux-Fort that the Labour Party paid people to work for them. If you go in the Ramsey report, you would see that people who are being paid by step was working in a restaurant of one of the prominent members of the St. Lucia Labour Party. It's in the Ramsey report. These men have the guts today to come on television and radio, and you criticize it. And here's what the NICE program under their watch was supposed to do. That they would send these people to work. They were supposed to pay for about 6 months to a year, and afterwards, the business establishments should have kept the people. The government of the St. Lucia Labour Party paid for the full 3 years of the program. And as soon as the program ended,
they fired him.
They fired everybody. So what the Labour Party did was for selected businesses of their friends. And that's why they have the friends, family, and foreigners. They know that doesn't refer to UWP. They know that refers to them. So, and I know the businesses, lumber businesses, lawyers' offices.
Wow, lawyers' offices? How did a lawyer's office qualify for that?
They had people working in these offices, being paid not part salary,
full.
With Ojo Labs. If the government paid $500, Ojo Labs matched that with another $500 for that person. In the case of the NICE program, and I don't know all the details of the NICE program, so I want one of them to call and say, no, that is not so. This is how it was run. That is what real discussion is about. So from what I know, the government was the one paying the full salaries of these people working at the various establishments of their friends and operatives. So when I hear Philip come and talk about, we should be giving people money, we should give income support. We run an income support program when Vieux-Fort was in dire need of jobs. And I heard somebody call a certain talk show and say, the Prime Minister said that there were no call centers, as if it's under his watch call centers come. What the Prime Minister said was that there were no call centers in Vieux-Fort. And it is under the watch of the United Workers' Party that we now have 2 of the best or largest call centers being established. And Ojo Labs is a higher-end call center because of what they are doing. And ITEL BPO is growing at a rapid rate. That is not to take away anything from KM2 and the others who continue to do very meaningful things for St. Lucia. And I want to ask them, why was the Labour Party renting, they want to talk about rent, they were renting a building to somebody who was subletting that building
back to government
to LNIT.
Wow.
So they were renting at a low price, and then the other company was renting at a higher price to the entity. Why wasn't this being done? And if I'm subject to correction on that, and if I am wrong, I will apologize for it. That I believe that local company, as I said, would have been, it's LNIT who used to run the call center there.
In Union.
Where KM2 is now, up in...
Union.
Union. Now, They think that people don't know what they do, but we know well enough what the Labour Party has done to this economy in St. Lucia. And so I want to appeal to all St. Lucia. Pay attention, and I will deal in greater detail in the future with that $4,000 tax break that they talk about, and show that, look here, this is something that is geared not towards the poor.
Mm-hmm.
It is not going to help any poor person. It is going to put poor people. So all of a sudden, Gouvernement Maliwe, Pamela about Maliwe. That is what is happening. But thank you, and continue the good work.
Thank you very much,
that
sir.
you all have been doing.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you, Mr. Minister. Have a great day. Thank you.
Thanks. That was the Honorable Guy Joseph, folks, and we're getting down to the bottom of the hour, 8:29 right here in St. Lucia. It's a beautiful day.
But he made an interesting point, and I never thought about it that way. Subsidizing the salaries at Ojo Labs is a form of income support. But it's not just throwing money at people to stay at home. You're achieving multiple things with that. You're creating productive employment. You're attracting new businesses to St. Lucia. You're creating a whole new industry there with business outsourcing and artificial intelligence. Again, the visionary, strategic actions of the government, that you're not just giving people handouts.
That's right.
You're teaching them how to fish. You know, so you're creating multiple benefits, new industries. You're adding value. You're providing employment, right? You're attracting businesses because obviously there's been new interest. The businesses have been expanding. ITEL BPO has expanded.
Yeah.
But we also create an industry for ourselves, right? Like you said, call centers, we've always had call centers, but these are business process outsourcing and artificial intelligence. You think other countries and other companies are not sitting up and taking note and saying, okay, St. Lucia has a certain skill set. This is working in St. Lucia so far. Maybe we can look at St. Lucia as a possible location to establish our own artificial intelligence company.
Let's take this final call this morning.
Mm-hmm.
You're the last caller today. Good morning. You're on the air. Let's keep it real.
Good morning.
Morning. How are you?
I'm fine. Good morning to your co-host.
Good morning,
Norbert.
Yeah.
What became of the case with Ernest?
Adjourned to May the 7th.
Okay, May the 7th. So every date of the case, will it be adjourned to another date until the election is being called?
I don't know. I'm not a guardian.
Okay. To me, when I watch it, Norbert, I am seeing like they are adjourning it, and he's on the TV saying, "Call the election, call the election."
That ain't gonna save anybody.
You know.
Caller.
So
Caller, these calls.
Go ahead, Minerva.
No, I'm saying these calls to call the election. It's not any comfort or confidence in Labour Party as winning the election.
At all.
That is fake bravado. The Labour Party understands with every day that passes, they are under more and more and more pressure.
More licks.
Yeah.
It's only a matter of time before people start being reminded of their term in office.
That's why they call it early.
What their record was, right? Philippia has to be managed at every stage.
Yeah.
Philippia can't really go out and talk.
Say it loud.
Just talk naturally. He has to be scripted. He has to it has to be pre-recorded, and they put out pre-recorded interviews. Every time he goes to speak like openly, just so like there's a lot of buffoonery that comes out of his mouth. The Labour Party is under a lot of pressure every single day that passes. Right?
Yes.
That's why they shouting call elections now. It's not any level of confidence. They're actually losing support with every day that passes.
Yes,
right?
Because
they're bleeding with every day that passes.
The truth is coming out.
Absolutely.
And more.
Absolutely.
And the people are
as the government finishes more and more projects.
The policies. I said the people are weighing the policies. So minds are changing. They are losing ground. Yeah.
And they know it. That's why they keep asking to call the elections.
Yes.
I think as time goes on, we're gaining more and more strength in a lot of constituencies which are pretty close.
Yeah, but
and they see that, so they're feeling the pressure.
You ever heard somebody from Labrie calling a show in the past?
Well, That's so much for that. But we got to go, caller. We're rolling out of here. It's overtime, long way already. Thank you so much for calling. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, so that's about it, Minerva. That's it. Not a damn seat for them.
Not a damn seat for them. Not a damn seat for them. Not a damn seat for them. Not a damn seat for them. Not a damn seat for them.
Not a damn seat for them. Y'all too bad, y'all too wicked. Not a damn seat for. Beat up, beat up, beat up, beat up. Boof. Bap. Boop. Bap. Boopa babu ding. Bap. Bap and let do it. Bap. Time to retire. Nothing to offer. Fluff and bluff. It's time to stop. Stop that, man. Stop that. Stop that. And that's it for this morning, folks. And that's it. The morning edition of Keeping It Real. Of course, the Friday, Tuesdays and Fridays right here with Minerva Ward. So hope you have a wonderful weekend, Minerva, and get your rest and get ready for next week. Because next week is going to be hot right here.
Absolutely.
It's going to be hot right here. Thank you very much, folks.
Another great show, Norbert. Thank you.
Yeah, well, thank you. Thank you very much. The M&N Institute of Finance. Well, thanks for joining me, folks. Those of you all around St. Lucia in the north, south, the east, and west, and all those of you in the diaspora, thank you so much in Barbados, Canada, Martinique, UK, Antigua, Jamaica, South Korea, Tupatu in Japan. Whoa, Japan. Wow. Taiwan. We have here Germany, Azerbaijan. Who is in Azerbaijan? You know somebody in Azerbaijan? Minerva, do you?
I have no
somebody
idea.
from in Azerbaijan is listening. And those of you all around the US, Canada, the UK, everywhere else, throughout the region, thank you so much for joining us in the diaspora and around St. Lucia. It's been a pleasure. Keeping it real. Hope you have a lovely weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Coming up at 9 o'clock, in just a few minutes, the man Champagne with Champagne in the Morning, wrapping up the week. Champagne in the Morning coming up at 9 o'clock, 24 minutes.
My MP said that we would have a new wellness center. Here we are. It's almost finished.
My community said we needed a new wing to our secondary school. And my MP said yes.
My sister said she needed help to find a job, so my MP created a job fair.
Our athlete said we needed better sporting facilities.
A new early childhood development center.
My neighbors said.
My sister said.
The children said.
Community said.
Roads and a new park. And my MP said.
Yes.
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 Of course.
Nous toutes, c'est yon famille en Mikoud Nord. And nous continuons pour faire progrès avec Antigale.
Hello everyone, I'm Norbert Williams, right here on Sky FM 93.1. Join me Monday to Friday, 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. for the morning edition of Keeping It Real. And on Tuesdays and Fridays, Minerva Ward joining me from Canada, right near the North Pole. Although it's cold over there, it's gonna be hot in here. Don't you forget, Monday to Friday, 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. on GVD TV and streaming live on Facebook. Don't you miss it.
Mikoud Nord family, Mamai Mikoud Nord. Tune in to GVD TV 115 and Facebook Live this and every Tuesday for Let's Talk with Auntie Gail, where we will discuss what is happening in our constituency and the progress we have made so far. Anou pale epi Auntie Gail, tous les mardis à son GVD TV channel Yon Sek. Mikoud Nord, we've got this. Let's talk. Nous toutes, c'est yon famille à Mikoud Nord.
I'm not gonna say bye.
Student at the Monaco Passios Combined School. I'm in grade 6 and my teacher is Miss Stanislas. My favorite subject would be math. I don't normally like it, but my teacher makes it finds a way to make it fun. I also love the positive quote she put up all over the walls. It reminds me to keep going. Also, the new wing is very impressive. The balcony is very large. So at break time, I can eat my snack and, go for a nice little walk. I also like the size of the classroom, so I'm not sticking on anybody because, 6 feet apart. Before, it was a rocky ride coming to school when I normally take the bus. But now, the drivers don't have any complaints now that the district rep fixed it. Before, it was like a rocky, stony road. The road, but now that they fixed it with some concrete and nice tools, it's a smooth ride. I may even fall asleep.
Thank you, Dr. Rigobert.
Crossfire, discussing the issues. Norbert Williams, Champagne, Dr. Secret, and Ring the Bell. Thursdays, 8 p.m. on Sky FM and GVD TV. Don't you miss it.